God, please, no!
Bring her down a little bit. There she is. All right. Thank you, hon. Thank you for that. Hi, Morty. Hi. All right, everyone. Cool. We're sliding into a little bit of a late stream this week. Thanks for tuning in. Ooh, what a weekend. What a weekend. Just gonna. Actually, wasn't ready to click that start button, but Sandra was holding the cat, so we had to get it up there. All right. Well, I did want to start the stream today with a really earnest apology. Like, truly. Something has been really weighing on me since this morning. And I feel really bad. And it's something that has really spurred like kind of a deep reflection on how I approach Flesh and Blood games. So I just wanted to really apologize. There was a player from a stream last week. It was Nationals testing on Talishar number 8. Also, let me know if anything's different. I did change some settings with the microphone, so if you can't hear me, I hope you can. But anyway, last week I did a stream where I was just dinging around with like some Nationals decks, and I tried Dromai, and I'd only played like maybe 4 or 5 games with Dromai, so I didn't really know what I was doing, but of course went into the games pretty cocky because on Talishar, some of your opponents are just really they're distracted, they're at work, or maybe they're very new as well. Like, you don't always expect incredible quality out of Talishar, so I try to go into the games assuming that there's something to commentate on. Like, their play isn't perfect, we're allowed some leeway in like critiquing what's going on, and I feel like that's pretty fair. But there was this game against a Dromai mirror, where I went back and watched it, and it was pretty rough. I was way too convinced of the Dromai playing poorly. I think I actually said, something along the lines of like trash play, things like this. And then that game totally flipped, and it turns out I was the trash player. Not only because I misclicked and took Ghostly Touch when I should have taken Silicon Form, true misclick, but I lost that game, and I deservedly lost that game. I wasn't playing smart. I was, just messing around with the stream and overly critiquing this guy. So I did want to apologize because he came out and actually mentioned, he was excited to go back and watch this game because playing against me was like a cool experience. And then he was disheartened on the commentary. And I really feel bad about this. Like, really feel bad about this. Like, the entire day, I've been sinking over this feeling, like trying to put myself in his shoes. I feel awful. So, apologies to Eric. And for hopefully anyone else that has experienced that. I will really try to hold my tongue on being overly critical, especially when I just don't know the deck well enough to be critical like that. So really, I feel so freaking bad, Eric. So just wanted to say that. I think I lost him as a subscriber as well. That's not why I'm saying this apology. If he wants to stay unsubscribed, I totally get it. But I don't want to lose more people over things like that. So I did want to say I'm sorry just before we jump into anything. Anyway, a couple other things about this weekend. If I played against any of you and you were one of my Viserai opponents, I think all right, I mean, we'll jump into like full classic constructed stories and all that as we go along with today's stream, but I played against like 5 Viserais, and I'm pretty sure I had the most defeatist mentality in the freaking world when I sat down across those Viserais, because it is the one deck that it boils my blood. Any of you who have seen these streams, you've probably noticed when I was playing Viserai or when I was playing against Viserai, Jesus, my mental just snaps. And in person at Nationals, I played against 5 whole Viserais and was just very defeatist going into those matches. I was telling him, oh man, not this matchup, like it's going to be a loss, like enjoy the win, that kind of thing. And then I won 4 out of 5 of those games. So I also want to apologize to those players because I truly believed I was going to lose most of those games. So the defeatist mentality I thought was warranted, but then I won and then it felt really bad. So I got to change some things about how I approach this game, Anyway, those are just some things to say before we get into these games. So, man salt and all that stuff's allowed, but I can't I can't do what I did to that poor Dromai guy. I feel really bad about that. So, okay. Oh, God. With that out of the way, just wanted to reassure everyone, all these lovely viewers. I think we got 20 people tuning in now, which is pretty great considering I haven't started a game yet. But, these streams at first were just a way to actually kind of force myself to actually practice for nationals instead of getting complacent. But streams went really well. They were a lot of fun. Chat was really cool. Getting games live like this on Talishar also seemingly beneficial. A lot of people at Nats were telling me they really loved it. So we're just going to keep going. We're calling it like Worlds testing, but this is just going to be, games to play. Games to have fun with. And we'll get into more serious Worlds testing probably as we approach the Worlds event itself. So anyway, that'll be the little intro for today. And then we can move on to some of the decks that I wanted to try, because there are some new Levia brews to really mess around with. And there was one Levia, shout out to Vasilis Levia from Greece, who made top 4 at his nationals. Top 4 at a freaking nationals with Levia. So that was pretty incredible. He's a good, well, not like good friend, but he's a friend of mine. I hung out with him at the Pro Tour. We were the only 2 Levias in the Pro Tour. And he's also pretty defeatist when it comes to Levia. So we bonded over that, the feels bad moments. For me, it's like missing Blood Debt. For him, it's like missing a draw discard on Pulping Wild Ride. He's really hot on those cards. So we bonded over some bad beats moments. But he's an incredible player. I mean, the dude is like, I think he played like L5R or something in the past. But he like won a nationals in some other card game. He won like the Greece League or the Greek League in Flesh and Blood playing Levia, which was like an unofficial event. But I mean, that was huge. He was playing Levia. So he plays Levia a lot and ended up with top 4. I think his total record was 6-2 on the day. 6-2. So this list, definitely worth looking at. He has a player, definitely worth exploring. I mean, I'm gonna have him on the channel. We'll do an interview or something pretty soon. Already in touch with him. But his list is really different, very different than a lot of what I personally like to explore with Levia. Vasily, as he was telling me about this deck, it's quite literally a all gas, no brakes Levia. Just don't block. Just don't block. Present 12 damage a turn. Never miss a beat. And then use your Carrion Husk to just flip math in your favor, spike on Blood Rush, and use as much go again as Brute can possibly have. And you can kind of see there's already some funky cards enabling that, like Rouse the Ancients, and then the full playset of Wild Rides, Pulpings, all the Dread Screamers. I mean, this dude is playing Levia to just be Brute with go again. It's the whole goal, Brute with go again. So it's about fast games. It's about not blocking, using Husk as a pivot, and just ending the game. It's different. It's very different than a lot of the Levias I've explored. I've played Levia in Blitz this way before, and it's pretty spiky. It's pretty aggressive. Like, it can definitely work. So I wanted to play some games with it because I was toying around with it, and it's it's not the way I like to play Levia for sure, but it is effective. Like, it really is effective. So we can just jump in here on a game. Oh, and someone's already in that game. Here we go. So we'll just host it. We'll host it. If you guys want to jump in this game, I'll name it Levia Testing, because I haven't really put too much time on this list, but I'm sure we'll be okay. Levia Testing, competitive CC. There we go. All right, this means, for the love of God, please do not join with Viserai. I will fall out of my chair due to tilt. So please don't. Anything else? Anything else? Let's make it a real game. Junkstag says, hey man, super happy to meet you at Nats. Excited to see how this deck goes. Junkstag, who were you at Nats? I said hi to so many people. You guys were so freaking cool. My biggest regret about Nationals was that I didn't have any more League of Levia stickers or pins to give out. It was ridiculous. All that shit was still lost in the FedEx thing. Can you believe it? Oh, it would have been the perfect event to just pass stuff out. Hey, yo. Brandon from Metrics? I know a lot of Brandons. I hope it's Brandon from Metrics. That'd be kind of cool. We'll see. D Lobo It's cool of you to admit that stuff and take the time to apologize. You're a good dude. I don't know. The entire day, I felt like a shit dude. So I appreciate those words. I'm really trying to fix some of that defeatist mentality I have. It's no fun to play against, that's for sure. I gotta fix that. I wouldn't even say I'm a salty player in person. I'm a defeatist player in person because Brandon's gonna turn off the stream. Thank you. Okay, sorry. Talking still. Haha. Don't mute yet. I wouldn't even say I'm like a salty player in person. I am a defeatist player because I play Levias so freaking much that when something goes wrong, I'm ready to just call the game. It's like, man, I've seen this scenario 50 times over. I think it's just game. And I'll start to like check out. It's not good. I've talked to Fino actually about this, and he's the same way, where he can like you can kind of just start to like check out of a game of Flesh and Blood. And that's not good because you need to always be on top of your opponent's small mistakes that might get you back into the game, even if you know that you would lose a perfectly played game from here on out. But you can't assume that every game plays out super perfectly. So, yeah, I need to stop doing that as well. And that's just like a reminder of what those big events feel like, for sure. It's been a while. It had definitely been a while. Junk says, I was in line at Nats to pick up the tokens dragons after the first draft. I didn't want to bother. So I just said I love the streams. Oh, sweet. Okay, let's do these sideboarding stuff. Pietro. Hell yeah, Pietro. And this is a spicy one. So according to Vasily, by the way, this deck always goes second because it's really not super graveyard reliant. You just slap damage. You go second, you slap them with 12, and just keep it going. That's it. It's all you do. I'm a little hesitant of that play style, but we are going to give it a go. He also, I forget what his advice was with Goliath or Gamblers. He had one he preferred going first, one he preferred going second. I think he said going second he wanted Goliath. I'm pretty sure he said second Goliath. Because he feels more confident going second. You have more you are, taking the tempo immediately. So Goliath helps you push, whereas going first you need more of a Hail Mary with Gamblers, is what I'm pretty sure he told me. Okay, so then the rest of the sideboard, we don't touch. We leave these sided out. And here's another weird part about the deck. He only mains one red Endless Maw. One red, one blue. That is strange. That is a little strange to me. Because I think Endless Maw is just like such a fantastic card in Levia. And he also keeps Deep Rooted Evil in versus everything but Fi. Also a little strange, but we're not going to question it. We're gonna do what he did, and we're just gonna play the game. So let's jump in. One Fruit says, really appreciate the takeaway. You need to work on the comic. Well done. Hard to admit, probably much harder to admit when you have over 2K subs. Well, like honestly, one of the things that reminded me to just reflect on that a bit was the fact that there's so many of you that I deeply appreciate being part of the channel, right? I wouldn't really call myself a role model for much other than Levia gameplay. I'm not a perfect player. I haven't won anything big. But at the same time, no reason to feed into some like negative persona because it's just not worth it. And oh, a Flicker Wisp turn. What the? Okay. Hold on. I'm not familiar with all the damage I'm taking. What happened? If it was fuse, action cards, deal that much. Okay, so I just took 3 arcane straight up. Oh boy, we're playing against a spicy Briar. Hey man, it was nice to talk to you at US Nets. Day 2 draft really killed my record, made top 50. Would have been top 20 if I won my last round of CC. Bravo got triple crippling in top 20. Holy moly, triple crippling. Well, Bravo is one of those decks, right? I got freaking rolled in the calling by a Bravo that just did like Tear Sunder. I got that card. Crippling does the same thing, right? Are you planning on Levi for Nats or going to give Fi another chance? Well, we're going to jump into those stories as soon as I have a second to breathe in this game. All right, so he's attacking. It has go again. It's just going to be a Rosetta swing after this. So we'll just save the block for there. Gonna leak a bit of damage. For sure. Okay, so The story around Nationals. Holy mother, by the way. I'm taking 5 Arcane. Vasily, you sure you go second? This is what I'm saying, man, against these rune blades. No. Oh, okay. Hold on. Story time. How many? I wanted to wait to like jump into like the whole Nats stuff story time until we got some more players trickling in. I think we're there. We got around 40 people, so we'll jump into story time. All right, Vasily, this is the question, man. Go second, but like, where's the pulping wild ride you assume you open with every game, man? Okay. We really can't afford to banish all 3 right now. Like, that is just ramping blood debt so darn fast. That really is. We have a blue to start with. So playing potentially double Art of War here, going second, can really push significant damage. All right, I mean, we can swing big into Claw Swing. Doesn't feel great. But that is an 11 damage turn going second. Arseling Endless Maw. That's about the rate we're looking for. If we Art of War, we start to get really hopeful about what we draw. Because we'd kind of mess up the cost curve of just clean pitching, swing big into Claw. If we Art of War, we wouldn't probably end up with an Arsenal because we wouldn't have enough floating to pay for anything. Yeah, we're just going to go swing big into the Claw Swing. 11 damage, turn 2, Arsenal Endless sounds pretty good. Okay, so Nationals. I tried to put some of it in the scroll so I don't have to repeat everything. But let me tell you, Nationals was both the best and the worst like experience I've had in an event, I think. Because as you all probably heard in our streams leading up to the event, I had this whole plan with Dromai and Draft. I really didn't want to stray from it at all. I knew what I liked to do with Dromai and Draft. I was very confident going at least 2-1 with that Dromai plan. But then I completely psyched myself out when we sat down for the draft, and lo and behold, there were 3 people in my draft pod that I had drafted with in Pro Tour Lille. Like, the only 3 Americans in the Pro Tour draft pod that I was in were somehow once again in this draft pod at Nationals. And we're all talking about it at the table, super candidly, and we're just like, how is this possible? Like, there must be something behind the scenes, like with our, it couldn't be our ELO, because our ELO would have changed between Pro Tour and then. It had to be like our last names or our gem ID or something. Something behind the scenes in gem repaired us into basically the same pod. Did he fuse this? Where's the fuse icon? I don't think he fused it. You may fuse. Revealed. Oh, it did. It just doesn't have that symbol. Well, that is terrifying. It already dealt an arcane damage. Oh my god, what does this card do again? Jesus, 1 second. Whenever this deals damage, you may banish a non-attack. If you do, you may play it this turn as if it were an instant, be put in your graveyard and instead banish it. And he banished Flicker Wisp. Well, that's terrifying. Funny enough, this hand is like... This hand's not awful. I mean, we just go like Dread Screamer into Endless Maw. That's a 16 damage turn. I mean, that's what Vasily says the whole deck's about. Just smack him with Gogan every single turn. So, screw it. We're going to play towards what he told me. Okay, so, with that story, right? We had already drafted with each other in Lille, and I had a sense of what everyone was going to draft. Because we drafted before. And I knew that James Silver was in my pod, and he always goes Icelander. We did some practice drafts in Lille. When we drafted in Lille as well, like in the Pro Tour, he went Icelander. And from the get-go, I'm thinking, okay, he's the farthest seat from me. Not the farthest seat, he's like 4 seats away. I know he's going to go Icelander. He loves forcing it. So if I go Icelander from pack 1, we should have enough signals circling around that no one else should go Icelander. Because I know he's going to force Icelander from pack 1. So if I force Icelander from pack 1, we will be safe to like not be challenged very much. That was my big brain plan, like improv immediately. And I only did that because of how we were seated. And I'm telling you, there's something wrong with that seating. Like absolutely, we did not randomly get assigned to the same pods that we were in Pro Tour. Like, there's no way. There's no way that actually happened. Something was funky on the back end. All right, we're just eating all this damage. I'm just trusting in Vasily. He said, don't block. He said this deck is about not blocking. You don't block, you don't block. So, here we go. You don't block, you just go hard. Okay. And yeah, so I got in my head about it because all of a sudden I abandoned my Dromai plan. And I started feeling pretty good about abandoning my Dromai plan because as the packs start going, the person to my right was clearly on Dromai. Well, maybe not the person to my right, but you know, someone between the 2 seats over to me. I had a good sense someone was on Dromai. So I was like, okay, this is good. I like where I'm at with Icelander. But as we're passing around and I get to the pack, I think it was like, what, pick 6 or something, pack 1. As we got to that pack, I don't want to super clear it here. We could also just throw the Mark the Beast to not mess up the graveyard too much, but then we're losing the Go Again in Arsenal. Forget it. We're going hard. We haven't drawn a Blood Rush yet. We'll just draw one and win, right? That's how it works. Okay. But then as I get to like pick 6, pack 1, or whatever it was, it's the pack that the person to James, the other Icelander, is right. As soon as I see that pack, the pack that started on the other Icelander's right, I realize, oh my god, there are like no Icelander cards left. What just happened? Like nothing's gonna wheel. There's nothing left. And I don't get to play draft like pretty much at all. I just practice in Leal. So I started freaking out because I just don't know when it's safe to pivot. There we go. We drew the Blood Rush. I just don't know when it's safe to pivot because I don't have enough practice. So I started freaking out though. And I'm like, well, I'm going to still force Icelander. There's at least like another Icelander in here that's messing it up, like at least a third Icelander. But hopefully I'm in the better seat because James and I are so far away that the person on my left, James' right, that's on Icelander will have to get forced off. That was my thinking. So I just keep forcing Icelander, but my picks start getting awful. I got like, 4 good cards per the first pack. On the second pack, terrible quality. On the third pack, I got like another maybe 4 good picks in. So my deck is like 20% functional. 20% functional. And I'm so annoyed at myself because it all came down to me just being too afraid to pivot because I have no experience pivoting. I just haven't played enough to know when I can really be safe pivoting or not. So I look at my deck and I'm like, this is probably the worst Icelander I think I've ever seen. There's just like no recovering with how bad this is. It had a lot of good damage in it. It had a decent amount of blues, but it was missing a significant amount of ice blues. He's coming in for 4. We're just not blocking with this though. It was missing a significant amount of ice blues. And the Spellfire Cloak were like the 2 things it was really missing to be considered like a good Icelander. But it also had just such mediocre card quality in general that like I wasn't even sure if I could win a game. That's why I put that Twitter post out there and I was like, I think this is like an 0-3 Icelander. Like, oh, I'm convinced this is an 0-3 Icelander. And then of course, as it plays out, there were 4 Icelanders in our pod. There was an Icelander in between me and James, and there was an Icelander who pivoted to my right as well. So in the beginning, I wasn't fighting with that Icelander. I was fighting with him as he pivoted, but I was fighting the entire time with James and the Icelander that was right next to him. That was only like 1 seat away from me the entire time on every wheel. So holy crap, like it was just awful. It was awful. I was convinced 0-3. And as we play it out, of course, I face a Phi round 1, and his deck is good because there were only 2 Phis. His deck is quite good. So lose that. Yeah, I mean, this hand is Claw Hungering. That's pretty good. Lose against the Phi. Then I play against an Icelander, and I win the die roll, and I go second. And I'm like, okay, well, he's one of the Icelanders that was in a worse seat than me, so I should be fine. But I win the die roll, choose to go second. And in my hand, I draw 0 damage spells going second. Nothing. Nothing that deals significant damage. Like no reds, no yellows, just blues. And I'm freaking out. because all my turn becomes is like, play some piddly sigil or whatever it was and wand, going second. So I was an entire turn cycle behind of dealing damage into the mirror, and I just lost. It was a close game, but if I had any damage spell in that first turn, I would have won. I just didn't have it, and that was rough. That was really rough. And then, of course, round 3, I play against another Fi, the second Fi in the pod, and lost. So started 0-3. Started 0-3 in draft, and felt awful. Like, that, I broke the plan. I didn't play Dromai. I freaked out after getting seated in that pod with all the same freaking people from Lille. Like, what were the chances of that? It was just so weird. Oh, this is cool. Hey, a rouse hand. This feels pretty good. This feels quite good. Look at this. Look at this. Wow. Look at Rouse doing work. So yeah, I went 0-3, man. Went 0-3. Felt awful. Felt awful. Those 5 games were not really winnable, honestly. Their decks were really quality, and I was short on Ice Blues. So just got rolled. But that Icelander game I should have won. So I was a little upset because it really should have been like a 1-2 draft, which I was fine with because I expected to go 3-3. Like my goal was to end up 3-3 in the draft portions and then just try to go undefeated with Fi. So I could have recovered from a 1-2 draft, but 0-3, I was out. I was out. Man, here's the scary part though. When you just don't block, if you just don't block, like Vasily is saying, the Briar can just start blocking themselves. And then what do you do when your graveyard runs out? That's that's just the issue with this. I mean, I guess we'll just pretend that like we draw a way to proactively fill the graveyard, I guess. But I mean, this is terrifying. This is never how I play Levia, but we had some good early turns. Oh, and once again, if we like draw an Art of War, if we draw a Blood Rush, sure. I guess we do just kind of keep going. We do. Very inexperienced in all things Icelander. Curious as to why he chose to go second. So actually, Icelander, it's a little unintuitive, but Icelander does prefer to go second in draft. Because Icelander wants to be a turn ahead on damage to kill you out of being able to play something from Arsenal and then wand on your turn. That's how they kill you. They don't kill you from you passing turn into them, like, okay, with my action point, I'll play a spell and kill you. Generally, they're going to kill you after they see you spend your resources, see more of your hand, and then respond with the instant and moon. And so Icelander wants to be a turn cycle ahead on damage to always threaten the kill with Waning Moon on your turn. That's kind of the deal. Wow, we did it again, though. We actually did it again. Rouse is very live when you just don't block. The issue is going to be we take a ton of blood debt. Like, we take a ton of blood debt here. Man. Man, oh man. So when you go second with Icelander, and you have enough reds in your deck, you get to basically start the game with 7 arcane damage. 7 arcane damage. That's the ideal. You deal 5 arcane with a spell, 2 arcane with wand, and then arsenal a card. And you can do that pretty freely, right? Because your 7 damage spell is going to cost you 2 cards, and then your wand is going to cost you a 3rd card. So then you always get to arsenal that 4th card. And so you don't really mind. God, this is really terrifying to take 9 blood debt here. Holy mother. Holy mother. All right. We're not going to die. There's no way we die from what his hand ends up as. We've got good block here. And in fact, no matter what he swings, we're going to proactively fill it with crown. But yeah, so going second with Icelander puts a lot of pressure on your opponent, gets them down damage-wise, so that you pressure more with that Waning Moon kill on their turn. And you get your arsenal no matter what, generally. So it's a little unintuitive. Like in CC, Icelander really loves to go first because their game plan is very different than how they're going to start to play out in the draft format. Oh my god. Please attack me, for the love of God. I need to crown here, for the love of God. I need to crown. Please, please, please. I need to crown. Save me. This hand is rough. Although we could just win if pulping hits, which is nice. So yeah, started 03 in draft. It was just so rough. Just so rough. But then we moved over to CC and I went 4-0 with Phi. And I'm like, man, this is rough because these weren't even easy games. I played against a Phi Mirror, a Bravo, an Ice Lexi, and a Dromai. The only free game there was against the Dromai. And it was actually like a very aggressive Dromai too. We can still afford to block with this. It's really scary to have all these non-blocks, but we should still clear out the Dread Screamer just so we have a more operable hand. I think we probably do just win from pulping Dominate, which is cool. This game is like pretty tight. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, so like the CC games weren't even easy, but I still went 4-0 because we put all that practice in. So that felt pretty good. Because that was like exactly what we were playing for. It's exactly why we did all that stuff. All right, so we should just be able to... The greedy thing about blocking Scabs is he could run the Sigil of Suffering, so we don't want to do that. We do still want to throw the real card here. We still want to stay at 2, not 1, just in case he actually has a Sigil. So we'll do that. And then we should win. We should win. Yeah, it has Dominate here, so this should be a win. But that is like a really tight way to play Levia. Just no blocks. Sheesh. It worked, but that was terrifying. That was terrifying. Phew! Alright, GG's. Man, those rouses really hit. I tried Rouse before Everfest came out. But it makes a lot of sense now with Swing Big. Swing Big's just like an extra... Because I was trying it with like Red Smash Instinct and stuff. Which obviously you don't run now. You don't run now. Main menu. Okay, sorry. I'm just going to go to the main menu because I need to finish telling some stories real quick. The Bravo player is one of your locals. Nice. That Bravo, that was a tight game. GG's, Brandon. GG's. Brandon. Yeah, like really, that Bravo game felt unfavored. Felt unfavored, but I still won. Ice Lexi felt unfavored, still won. Phi Mirror, really freaking tight, but my build got ahead. He was on the UK list. He was on the Kadachi Phi, and I was on like the hybrid Phi that we've been working on. I did win, but that was actually the last game of the day. And so we were talking about it, and I was like, look, dude, like I'm 4-3. I'm gonna drop and play the calling. So if you would play Nats Day 2, I'll record the win for you. And he said he would. So I did win that game, but then I went ahead and conceded on paper because I wasn't gonna play the calling Day 2 anyway. So that gave me some good karma points, I think. I hope. But he was a cool dude. Everyone was cool. Nats just wasn't it. My draft plan just went out the freaking window. The general Dromai plan that I was planning for, I had tested quite a bit in Lille, and it worked really well. And the idea being, Dromai is really the only draft deck that can flex between two pretty different builds. You can go for like good rate damage hands with your Blaze Headlongs, the Scar for Scars, the Dust Ups, the Senepais. You can build your deck to be aggressively statted like that. And when you build your deck that way, you tend to beat Phi. You actually do tend to beat Phi. If you build your deck more dragon-centric, you tend to beat Icelander. And then the mirror is going to require like a little bit of a mix. It is very dependent on when you spend your rakes, for sure. So, I really like Dromai in that you can start to tell it is typical, and you can't call it right every time. But as you're drafting Dromai, you know who your first round opponent is going to be. It's the person farthest away from you. And if you can get a general sense of what that person is on, general sense, I'm not saying you're going to be right every time, but if you can get a general sense of what that person is on, then you can start to build your Dromai to specifically beat your round 1 opponent. If it feels like it's more of a Phi, then go for the better rate aggressive cards. If it feels like it's more of an Icelander, build for more dragons. If it feels like it's going to be the mirror, try to take every rake you can. And that way, when you build your Dromai to beat your round 1 opponent, then all you're really hoping for is to go 1-1 in the next 2 games you play. Because your deck is going to be pretty slanted towards one Dromai playstyle. But if you face like another Phi, you probably win if your first opponent was Phi. If you face another Icelander and your first opponent was Icelander, then you probably win that one. So I don't try to go 3-0 with how I build Dromai. I just try to go 2-1. That's it. That's the whole plan. Just try to go 2-1. Because you do hedge your build a lot when you do it that way. So yeah, that was the plan that I had with Dromai that I practiced a lot in Lille. That worked in Lille. I went 2-1, 2-1 with that exact same plan in Lille. And then in Nationals, threw it completely out the window. Completely out the window. So that just sucked. It just sucked. I'm an idiot. I have just, man, I really can't tell you how bad that draft went. But anyway, Nats was good. Didn't matter. Dropped it and went to play the Calling. And honestly, felt so good about the Calling. I was so ready to play Levia. I really feel like this meta was just golden for her. And this is the Levia build I was playing, and I freaking loved it. There is almost nothing in this build I would change right now. I think this is by far the most consistent way to play Levia right now that really hits the top players hard. Really does. So I was playing like a hybrid Levia that could switch between like a full recursion game plan and then coin flip against aggro, still take Blood Rush. But Blood Rush was not the main focus of the deck. Not at all. And in playing this version, the only thing that I didn't really want to hit was probably Viserai. There's still just not much you can do when they like Mordred Revel and all of a sudden your husk disappears. There's just not much you can do. And of course, in that run, I played against 5 Viserai. 5 Viserai out of 12 rounds. 5! And somehow, I did beat 4 of them. I did. I can't complain too much. I did beat 4 Viserai. I did lose to 1, and Pied Piper was coming at that point. I knew I was supposed to lose that game. And then I lost to a Bravo, and I really like that Bravo player. He's someone I know from last Nationals, really friendly guy. Unfortunately, our game wasn't much of a game. He ripped just every bit of disruption. He went first, landed like some huge crush effect. I started like 6 life down or whatever it was. And then his next turn was just like Terra Sunder. His next turn was crippling. His next turn was spinal. It was just one of those Bravo games where I feel like I didn't really play any cards. But it happens. It happens. Like that one was just a bad game. So I lost 2 real games. One to Viserai that just kind of blew me, and then that one Bravo game. And then I lost 2 games to Bricks. I lost a game to drawing no way to turn off Blood Debt. Funny enough, it was against a Fi. I think I got bad karma. Whenever I put time in a hero and then ditch him, I just get bad karma. So I was playing against Tyler Broughton, who's big on Facebook, playing against Fi, and now he was at 1. He was at 1. I'd been forcing him to full block out for like 3 turns in a row. I'm at 8. And all of a sudden, I draw a hand that can't turn off Blood Debt. And I look at my Blood Debt, and my Blood Debt's at 8. And I look at my life, and my life's at 8. And I go, huh, all right, GG's. And I shake his hand, and he goes, what's going on? Like, what's happening? Show me your hand. And I'm like, yeah, man, I just can't turn off Blood Debt. And he was so apologetic about it. Like, I mean, because what can you do, man? It's just so rough to lose a game like that. It's just so freaking rough. But that was one of my losses. And then my other loss was against Jimmy Lee, who was also on Fi. Freaking bad karma, I'm telling you. But we were playing a really good game once again, and I had him at 1. I'm 1 hand away from just actually forcing a full block out of him, and then just ending the game probably the turn after that. So I was probably like 2 turns away from actually ending the game. But I draw my hand up, and my hand is Endless Maw, Red Deadwood, Red Graveling. And I think my card in Arsenal was like another Graveling or something. And I look at that hand, and I'm like, huh, okay, I lost. It's just so frustrating. Like a 1 blue, 1 blue in that hand gets me there. But whatever, it just happens. It just happens. So that was the 8-4 run. 8-4 was good enough for top 32, but I did bubble out of top 32. But hey, out of 12 rounds, 2 real losses, pretty good. 2 variance losses, pretty good. I would expect to lose like 1 out of every 5 or so to variance. And in this case, I only lost 1 in every 6 to variance. So that wasn't so bad. So yeah, 8-4 run with Levia in the Calling felt pretty insane. Like I was hovering around the top tables the entire time. I really feel like if I just didn't play against that Bravo match in particular, I was looking golden. That Bravo game was like the one game where there really wasn't much I could have done. But even that Viserai game, I think if we play that back, I learned a lot about playing into Viserai this weekend. Learned how to beat it. Learned how to beat it 80% of the time. But anyway, that was the Nats run. That was the calling run. It was really cool. Not quite the miracle run Levia needed, but had a lot of fun. And this build was so juicy. My God, this build was so juicy. The ability to pivot into like an actual really solid recursion plan. The one piece that had been missing in all builds previous was actually adding the pummels. Just splashing the 2 red pummels gives you early hands that can supplement the power of double howl. When you don't have double howl, you can still go 2 blues for 1 howl, 2 cost attack, and then pummel. And that buys you a huge window to then just like sweep with a new 5-card hand that can overpay into stuff like Art of War, Deep Rooted, stuff like that. Like the pummel really made the full recursion package work smooth as butter. But then the other package would be, if you're facing aggro, you have to kind of just try to spike with Blood Rush. Recursion's too slow. And when Blood Rush lines up, like your deck is just really good. Your deck is just really good if Blood Rush lines up. So you do just kind of have to run it. But anyway, I had so much fun with Levia this weekend. Like the going forward with Vi was as fun as losing 1 game with Levia. Like I had more fun losing a game with Levia than I did winning 4 games in Nationals with Vi. So I'm going to do what I can to really, really pull together a Levia that feels comfortable going into Worlds. Will I play Levia at Worlds? It's too early to say. I really hope I can, because I think this weekend proved she feels pretty damn good in this meta. And on top of that, Vasily has a completely different way of playing Levia that I need to explore. The whole like not blocking, but just kind of throwing full hands at your opponent with Rouse the Ancients. I really like that this card works now. I totally forgot that Swing Big helps Rouse be real in Levia. It's something I tried before, but like, yeah, just hadn't thought of using again. But like, you can even banish it with Art of War. It's pretty good. So we're gonna keep playing some games with the Vasily version, just to see what it can do. It's probably not going to be the most interesting because the plan is to just not block and throw damage and have short games. But hey, I mean, if it works, it works. Sorry. Okay, so that was the rant about the Nationals weekend. Also, let me update the wins. Here we go. Yeah, there were so many Vis in the calling. Hey, but I was knocking him down. Alberto. Trying to get him out of there. I was doing my due diligence. Didn't get a chance to stop and say what's up. You're at the draft table next to mine. Hope you had a good weekend. Oh yeah, the weekend was fantastic. So much fun to hang out with friends. Like I didn't really know anybody. Oh wait. Ooh, this is good. Vasily says that this is one of the tougher matchups for his deck. He said this one is actually pretty tough. I'm not sure why. I feel like Dash is pretty easy for the other version of Levia, but we'll give it a go and see why he thinks it's so tough here. Perhaps we get rolled. That would, all right, and he does like going second. I need to check what he said. 1 second. He was saying Goliath versus Gamblers is different in his build. Because normally, for me, I would always take Goliath with hooves, but he only takes hooves into Wizard. It's really not for the Goliath hooves combo. He normally will take Scabskins with Gauntlet or Scabskins with Gamblers. But it depends whether he goes first or second. So 1 second, let me find where he says that. By the way, you can find his written guide in the League of Levia Discord. Feel free to join. It's in the description. But he will be coming on the channel to do like a deck tech or interview. We haven't hashed it out yet. All right, I think I'm still just going to put the Goliath Gauntlet going second. We'll do it. Have you ever tried Reinar? Yeah, a little. I don't find Reinar that interesting, not gonna lie. Reinar just feels like a Levia with less interaction points. And Intimidate is not the most fun mechanic for your opponent, and some people can get pretty salty about Intimidate. It's pretty hard for your opponent to get salty about Levia, because what are you doing that's so unfair, right? But he's definitely good. Reinar's definitely good right now. This hand's definitely bad, though. So all we want to do with this hand is cycle out this card because it's not really blockable, and then probably put this 2-block in Arsenal. And that's going to be about all we can do here. We could also cycle the Boneyard Marauder out just because it's another 6 that's not going to trigger Rouse. So we'll just do that. But see, this is my issue with going second in Levia. Vasily says always go second. He says always go second. But when you always go second and you're an aggressive deck, what happens when you draw that hand, right? What happens? That hand is just does nothing going second. You're so much safer to go first. This hand does not do anything very well. It does not. So we'll use it to protect HP. Rouse actually converts to more damage if we swing back with the claw, then block with it. But who knows? If our win con is to truly like fatigue them out, then we will still block with it. But we'll see. Do you have any spicy guesses about what's in Dynasty? I unfortunately have very little faith for Dynasty anymore because I clarified with the spoiler card I'm getting. We're just gonna block. Returning a claw is really negligible, honestly. Do you have any spicy guesses about what's in Dynasty? Well, I was contacted again by LSS about the spoiler card, and in this new clarification email, they did not call it a Levia spoiler anymore. The first time they told me about it, they said Levia spoiler. It got me excited because they've never said that before. But then in the official email, it's back to very basic language. It doesn't say Levia spoiler anymore. It just says spoiler card. And, it could still be a Levia card. But now we're not sure anymore. Now we're a little scared. Okay, so this hand does return for quite a bit, so we're going to eat a ton. But now we do have the line to potentially go 3 wide, where we can go Rouse, Wild, Claw, and not deal with Blood Debt yet. We're going to eat a lot of damage, but we'll try. We'll try to swing that hand. Because this hand doesn't full block anyway. Like, Wild Ride wouldn't do anything. So we'll take this 1 turn to trade tempo. He's also banishing 2 reds so far. We don't hate it. But guesses overall, I really hope it is a talent set. Like, more than anything, I really hope it's a talent set. Because we can already see... Nice, he was 1 card inefficient. We can already see that Draconic is supported to some degree. Just because of the crown, just because of the... discarded a Deadwood? Okay, so this will still trade in with Mandible. Because of like the new the Guardian's not Draconic, but like the Emperor does say Draconic. There's the new Royal talent. So at minimum, there should be at least some Royal cards added to the pool, maybe Draconic cards. And if there are some Royal cards added to the pool, it would stand to reason that in that case, other talents get added to the pool as well. And a talent supplemental is really like all I can ask for. I really just want a talent supplemental so badly. So badly. This is a clean block on the combustible. Yeesh. This hand does not return well at all, but in the off chance we draw Blood Rush off the top, we should sink Mark the Beast. Nope. Alright, but actually this is fine, because that way we can return 6 without starting the Blood Debt ramp, and then we can block with these guys. So that's kind of fine, how that worked out. Our last turn was insane. Our last turn really was good. Okay, this is terrifying, though. Imagine this is another T-Bone. That is going to suck. Alright, it's going to be another T-Bone. It's going to be another T-Bone. Watch. Here it is. Nope, 0 to 60. Interesting. Very interesting. Might get some decent... Oh, okay. Okay, come on. Where's this 0 to 60? Oh, it's max velocity. Alright, that is 12 damage. Husk can cover up throttles, it can cover up max velocities, it can cover up the dominate one. No reason to really use it now, because our next turn is not going to turn on Blood Debt yet. So we can take 9 here, go to 15. But then we're forced to use Husk next turn. And he just might not have a hand that goes very tall. Whereas this, right now, it does protect the HP guaranteed. He just might not draw anything tall enough for us to get value off Husk, so I will use it here. We're going to take 1 blood debt that way. And so I guess at that point, I should just block with the riled up. Sorry. We'll do undo. Sorry. We're going to block with the... Sorry, redo block. We are going to block with the riled up, just because this will save us the HP, right? It's the same damage as riled up, but it'll turn off blood debt. So we'll do that. Come on, let's see it. All right. See, this is where running more Endless Maws, rather than just 1 red Endless Maw, would be pretty big. I mean, those 2-card hands for 9 are such an insane rate. Such an insane rate. We're lucky, though. Oh, is this hand not serviceable? That's interesting, because this is a pretty good hand for us to... Oh, never mind. I thought he was shooting with pistol. Okay. Yeah, I guess we take 5, because this hand definitely wants to play out the Art of War, so we'll just take the 5 here. Little scary, for sure. Yeah, I mean, the rest of what Dynasty can give us would honestly be more Majestics that are not Runeblade slanted. I would love that. I would love to see Majestics that are not to the power level of like Tear Asunder and Swarming and Revel, but still good and for other classes. Because those cards really toe the line for like how auto-include you can make a card. Like, those cards are just insane. They're just insane. Like, I'm not a huge fan of the card is just so good it goes in your deck. You know, when a card like Pulping exists, yes, it's a good card, but it's not going to go in every Brute deck. There's drawbacks to it. Apart from just being like a non-block, you would still have to start to weigh, is drawing, discarding like likely for my deck, yada yada. But man, Revel, Gloomveil, Tear Asunder, like those cards are they're just so good. They're just so good. And I don't want them to print just so good cards. I'd rather things to kind of make us explore deck building a little bit more. I think we just go with the next Art of War on Pulping here. Yeah, sure. This is going to be a 14 damage turn. 14 damage, not so bad. Once again, we wish we had an Endless so that we didn't waste the mana, or the resources. Oh my god, not mana. Sure. The other weird part about this deck is it doesn't run Writhing Beast Hulk, so when you're racing aggro like this, the only like cheat card you have is Reckless Swing. But when like the normal build, oh god. When the normal build plays into aggro like this, you can cheat wins just off Goliath Writhing. Just come in for 8 dominate. That stuff is nuts. Sheesh. This is painful. This is super painful. So we need to dig for a way to turn off Blood Debt, so we actually have to play the Blood Rush out, which is terrifying. Because we need to start with a red pitch. Good god. Good god. I hope we don't just, like, die. That'd be awful. But this is one of those scary hands. If we had a blue, like, I'd feel really good about this spot. But these are the Levia hands. This deck is also really light on blues. It runs 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 blues, compared to, I think, normally I'm running it at 19. Oh god, yep, this was the fear. This is the fear. This is really scary, because now we have to block. And we might just die. Teklo, here we go. Shoot. Yep. Wait, why does it say 3 action points? Did he play high octane? Oh, what the? Oh my god, he's playing high octane. I didn't even notice that. All right, so we're just dead, actually. We are just dead. So yeah, that checks out. Vasily said this is like the worst matchup for his deck. We can't even pretend that somehow he just doesn't block swing big. We will just die. We will just die. All right, come on. Maybe he forgets to block. Here we go. Here we go. I heard there would be talent support, but I don't know if there's any credence to it. It would be an inadvertent way to support multiple decks at once. That's what I'm saying. Like, I really hope... Oh, he remembered he could block. Dang it. We do lose. We do lose. 1-1. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't even have to block with multiple cards because I will take Blood Debt and die, but most players forget that kind of thing against Levia. So we'll let him think about it. It's alright, buddy. Alright, he's going to think, and then watch, when we pass, it's over, and he's going to have a second of confusion. But there's the screen. GG. Okay. We'll jump into another one. Paste. Oh, nice. Icelander. Yo, hi. Oh, he disconnected. Disconnected. Competitive CC. This is a competitive deck, baby. Top 4 Nats. Ah, but it's a Viserai. Alright, this is fine. This is fine. I can't complain. I'm not allowed to complain against Viserai anymore. I'm not allowed. I beat too many Viserais this weekend. I need to stop complaining about it. Man, it's just so crazy. Siding out endless maws. Alright, let me check one thing. Maybe he said something about this matchup in the Discord. This discussion. Here we go. Scroll up, scroll up. Alright. He claims Viserai is a 90-10 to win if we go second. So that's step 1. We are going second. Always go second. 1 null rune. Okay, so he does still take null rune. Into null rune, I'm partial to hooves, but nope, we won't do it. Okay, ready. We're sticking to what he says. What he says. What he says. What he says. Not what I think. What he says. Here we go. Alright, this is one of those going second hands. That sucks, though. That's the thing. That's the thing. You can't just pretend every going second hand has Pulping Wild Ride. You can't pretend. But going first, this hand would be so good. But it's okay. Like, I personally always go first in this matchup. Letting Viserai goes first risks them just building 10 Rune Chance Arsenal. That's like worst case for you, and they can pull it off. And then you just kind of eat 10 free damage and have hands that deal 3. That's my experience, and that's literally what's happening right now. But with the Living Legends, the Shadow and Light card pools are just sad right now. Only 1 hero each. Yeah, and they're also the unloved heroes. I was talking with Jimmy Lee, who used to be like a really recognizable name for playing Bolton. He won like a Road to Nationals with Bolton back in the day. Oh, here we go. They make free damage. If he swings, though, we're fine. If he swings, this hand cooperates. But if all he does is build Rune Chain's Arsenal, then our hand, is not great. And that's one of the... That's like a bit of confirmation bias. Like when you play Levia against not savvy opponents sometimes, is if you're playing against people who don't play against Levia often, then they probably swing into you going first a lot. And actually, that's what's happening here. So we like this, right? We actually appreciate this. Because when he swings into us, we get the graveyard fill, and he's not even going to Arsenal here. So, never mind. Now this kind of hand looks great, but this isn't good for actually educating, other Levia players, because you shouldn't assume most games play out like this. All right, we can leave the Art of War on top to try to pop off with like a double Art of War right away. That'd be pretty fun. That would be pretty fun. Since it's a power card, I think we'll try it. The other thing we could do to just leak 0 damage is just Art of War for +1. And then we take no damage and fill Graveyard to 3. And we know we're drawing another Art of War, and it's going to be a short game. So we don't hate losing the one right now. I'm actually pretty okay with that. We're going to go buff. I don't really want to dig right now because we might draw a way to play aggressive without turning off Blood Debt. So we'll just do this. But yeah, you shouldn't expect people to swing into you going second. In fact, at the calling, I was really impressed. A lot of people are getting a lot more savvy about how to play against Levia. Like a lot more savvy. And that is definitely going to hurt the win rate for a lot of people. Definitely. All right, we're going to try to have our explosive going second turn. Yeah, we'll banish this. Yeah, because playing this out is more damage, but I guess if we banish here, we're still playing into Blood Debt because we're likely playing the Hunger Beast. So if we, or Hungering Slaughter Beast. So if we banish the Hungering Slaughter Beast instead, then we actually could just draw another attack that doesn't turn off Blood Debt and not ramp ourselves so quick. So I think with the way this deck is built, that's a bit more likely. Just try to play out the Wild Ride. But then if we draw a miss, that does hurt us a bit. But if we draw a Blood Rush, then buff is going to be better than go again. We're going to try it this way. Okay, not bad. Not bad. And this is actually... Oh, actually, okay. Well, we didn't choose go again because we were looking to get our go again from Wild Ride. But if we had chosen go again, we could go Graveling, Wild Ride, Claw going second. And Vasilis' rule is if you can deal 12 damage going second, don't worry about Arsenal. Which I really prioritize Arsenal. But, all right, maybe we still keep this in hand, though. That'd be nice. Problem is we could also discard our blue here, which would not be... Oh! All right, it already said, man, no animations. It's just so quick. We discarded a blue Deadwood Rumbler, and we still have in hand a blue and a Graveling. That's pretty funny. That's pretty lucky. Pretty lucky. We like that. We like that a lot. So yeah, going second, this will be a 17 damage hand. But it was all predicated on actually drawing like the Wild Ride or pulping. And if our Viserai opponent didn't swing into us, our turn would have dealt like 3 damage. So that's the difference, right, between swinging or not into a Levia. Mario says, hi, dude, please don't tell me you're playing Vasilis Curlis deck from Greece. Oh, yeah, I'm absolutely playing it. Absolutely, I'm playing it. It's very different. It's very much all gas, no brakes, don't block. Just throw hands. And it's effective. It is effective. I think, in all honesty, I think this kind of build really is the better build for Blitz. I'm not convinced it's actually the better build for CC, but I just want an armory with this kind of build in Blitz, where you just basically say, I don't care what you do. I'm just going to use Husk to try to pivot and try to present lethal in 2 turns. Do like 12 damage, or spike even harder. And this kind of build can do that. This kind of build absolutely can do that. All right. He played Rattlebones and pitched Revel. That's just a really inefficient hand to keep, though, buddy. It really is. Our hand is not the best curved. I'd really love it if this was a blue, but there's really not that many blues in this deck. But it could have been, you know, a 15 damage hand, Dread, Wild, Claw. I think we still kind of go that route. Maybe lead with Wild Ride, discarding Doomsday. Just because if we go Dread Screamer pitch into Wild Ride, the one floating, like, guaranteed doesn't do anything. But if we Wild Ride here, there's a chance we discard Riled Up for a new blue in hand. Potential. Alright, but we're gonna just eat all this damage. Not the most relevant. Dude doesn't have go again. I'm an old frenemy of Cureless from our L5R days. Yeah, he was telling me about all his accolades in other card games. Apparently the dude is just like legendary in Greece for just winning everything. I mean, you can confirm or deny, Mariusz. You can confirm or deny. Of course, I'd love that to be true because, hey, Levia players, we are scary people, and Vasilis a very intimidating dude. Having met him in person, he's more intimidating than me, let's say. We don't care about this. One thing we can try to do is like sync with Crown just a little bit on that riled up, but our hand's functional without it, so we'll just take it. He's good at what he does. As I said, frenemies. Okay. Oh man, now I'm torn. There's so many Greeks I enjoy the company of. You, Vasily, jeez. I actually had this game at Nationals, by the way, with... Okay, I mean, this isn't so bad. We'll just Arsenal the Blood Rush. That's one way to do it. We prefer discarding the Dread Screamer, arsenaling the Blood Rush. For sure. I guess it'd be the same, discarding Riled Up or Dread Screamer. All we're gonna follow this with is just a Claw, Arsenal, Blood Rush, so the discard isn't truly relevant on that because we're not gonna shuffle with this deck. So preserving the red Dread Screamer in here in an aggro matchup won't be relevant. Right time. Hello, other friend who plays Levia. The Greeks are coming. Do you mean to the stream or to Worlds? Because I hope you guys show up in Worlds. I hope. Vasily said he won't make it to Worlds, which is unfortunate because we barely got to hang out in Lille. I only saw him like one night. All right, we do this. Wampa Fruit says, with all the LLs, what do you think is the best value legendary to pick up right now? Assuming all talents get new heroes eventually. I picked up a Vestige for $50. Jesus, feel really good about it. Best value L to pick up right now. Assuming all talents get new heroes eventually. Vestige is one of the better ones to choose, honestly. Because that one was already seeing very low play with everyone switching over to Tunic. But, oh, hey, look, it's another Rouse Hand. Yeah, this is really a smart card. Like, I absolutely want to start slotting this in to more Levia builds. This does mean we're not going to play Blood Rush this turn, but that's honestly fine. We don't have to play Blood Rush this turn. Our hand is still incredibly good. We're taking, if we take 3, we go to 17, take 1 more tick to Blood Debt, 16. So we do risk some weird scenario where he just like grasps Arcanic Crackle or something. We lose Husk, so I think protecting a little bit more of our HP right now is relevant. Just because we don't want like 2 Arcane to threaten Husk next turn. Plus, he's really on the back foot, and he blocked with a bunch of Mavrians, so I don't think he's necessarily going to get another chance to impress me with like a red Mavrian like twice this game. One more time, Husk is going to protect us. Second time, he's probably dead. Demagogue, remember this alias. Demagogue, that is a name we know all too well here in the States. Not a name, a term. We just had a president who was quite the demagogue, that's for sure. So is that a Greek word as well? I think it probably is, right? It probably is. Sounds old. Okay, so Wumpa Fruit, answer your question. Vestige, that was a really good idea. For sure. Other things in that vein, there's always Carrion Husk, but I would hope you already have Carrion Husk because of Levia. This hand is not a Rouse hand, but it is a Blood Rush hand. Nice. We like that. Of course it is. Okay, good. Okay, he's playing a Minnowism, so Husk will definitely get value this turn. Oh. Demagogue. Well, that is... It kind of looks like Demagogue. I mean, you're obviously spelling Demagogue. I'm surprised. It does kind of look like Demagogue. The one who leads the demos. Yes, yes, yes. For sure. Yeah, that's what everyone called Trump a demagogue because he knew how to rile up the average folk, the people, get them on his side. Interesting. He played Minnowism. Minnowism will not affect Spellblade Assault. He played a Mauvrian Sky, so he played the Minnowism just to kick off the Runechant generation. That's mildly annoying. So our Husk is going to get low value just blocking 4, but that means we're not under pressure to care about the Runechants then, if we are just going to Husk this, which I think we will, because he's going to be forced to like full block next turn. There we go. All right. Yeah, he really just should have not swung. If he didn't swing, he would be in such a good position. But he swung, and look what happened. You swing, you let me fill graveyard. Let me cycle things. Find the good cards. Sure. We can go to 6. Totally fine. All right, here we go. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, God. What other legendaries are good ideas? Cards, browse. Legendary. True legendaries, not just legendary keyword. That's legendary keyword. Is there like a rarity button? Rarity legendary. Oops. All right, we'll search that in a second after this game. Here it comes. Next swing. Yeah. This is actually very similar to what was happening against Viserai all weekend. Was just kind of similar, but not exactly the same. I was winning the die roll a lot against Viserai, and I was choosing to go first. And choosing first into the Viserai really felt like you were stealing the win. Because Viserai's right now almost can't sideboard to be full aggro because they need to respect Guardian so much that they just have these setup cards they can't take out of their deck right now. Nice, GG. 2-0. 2-1. And when I was winning the die roll and going first, the Viserai just had these kind of stumbly first turns where they would do a bit of setup, but they didn't really throw that much damage. And their little attack, whatever it was, would then let me filter my own graveyard, lead into a really strong second turn, just because their turn going second right now is just so weak. And every game I won the die roll against Viserai was a game I won. The game I lost, that Viserai did choose to go first. Okay, after that game, let's take a look here at Wumpa Fruit's question. Cards that are safe purchases going into future talented heroes. Shock Charmers definitely stands out. Mostly because even now, the flexibility of having a Spell Void 2-piece in something like Briar, that's normally pretty redline into wizards like Kano, that is just a static use, Spell Void 2, that is going to always be better than any generic piece. The instant doesn't see tons of play, but that's just Spell Void 2 alone makes this card best in slot in a certain matchup for sure, which is namely against Kano, but that's probably a pretty safe one. I think we haven't seen the ceiling for Dynamo just yet. Dynamo for sure. Not just like, I mean, Kasai uses it really well, right? But as soon as we see a proper Axe hero, like how Dorinthia Axes was using Dynamo, I think there's going to be a better suited hero for Axes one day that Dynamo will really, really be good for. That's probably another one to look at. Wow, that's all the legendaries in the game? Jeez, I feel like there's more. Those would be my top 2 picks. Shock Charmers and Valiant Dynamo as kind of like sleeper legendaries that will definitely have their time. For sure. I also would suggest Silver Palms if it's cheap still. I think I got Silver Palms like $30. just because it's definitely like a PvE card. Constellus is also undervalued. Yeah, okay, funny story about Constellus, by the way, is my teammate Brian Lorenz made top 4 at Nationals, right? And he played Michael Hamilton in top 4. Icelander Mirror. Icelander versus Icelander. And he was really torn about whether or not to run Illuvian Constellus versus Michael, because he was going back and watching every game that Michael was on stream. And there was apparently another Icelander Mirror that Michael played where Illuvian got almost no value for the opponent, because the opponent assumed Michael's on this like arcane heavy Icelander, and in reality he was on a bit of a flip build, or not flip build, but like a split build with a lot of aggro on top of a lot of arcane, like a lot of these tall attacks, right? Wounded Bull, Findel's Fighting Spirit. And so apparently in that game, Illuvian Constellus only got like 3 charges that entire game, because Michael just went on like the physical damage beatdown strat. And so my teammate Brian decided to take Tunic in that top 4 game instead of Illuvian to try to like mind game Michael, assuming that Michael Hamilton would think he's on Constellus in case that changed his sideboarding. Unfortunately, I don't think that call really worked, because he still lost the top 4, but I haven't gone back to watch the game. I'm interested to see if Illuvian would have actually been better than Tunic, but he decided on Tunic over Illuvian for that top 4 Nationals game. It was a hard choice. He was really stressing about it like the entire night at the test house. But he had an amazing run, by the way. Brian Lorenz, top 4 Nationals. We're going to get him on the channel. He's going to do a deck tech on Icelander for us. Really great dude. Very humble. Nice to have him on the team. Okay. With that, we'll play another Levia game. Just can't help myself. Ooh, baby. This is good. Hi. If there's one thing that Vasilis' deck is like absolutely, hands down, no question better at, it is the Kano matchup. Vasilis' deck is so much better against Kano. So much better than Kano. Than my deck. Like hands down. Because it doesn't require tons of graveyard setup at all. Nice. Hopefully a good game. This is an exciting MU. The one thing he changes is to put in nourishing over some graveyard banisher. It could be probably the Hungerings fall a little flat, and maybe the Endless Maw. Probably take out those 3. Fall a little flat in this matchup. Once again, let's see. I think he says to go second. It's really interesting to play a Levia deck that wants to go second. Very different. But once again, it's, you just have to hope. Not every hand is actually functional second. Against Kano, he's saying first or second. It's a 90-10. First or second. We'll go second. All right. That game was so close, so fun to watch. Thank you. Levia is just such an exciting deck. You will pretty much never have a boring Levia game. Never. Never, never, never. And the longer the games go, the more exciting they are. I played against 3 Oldhams in the calling. I won against every single one. But my God, when the games go so long, the amount of stress and like mental energy. Okay, so what did we say about this? This is one of those, yes, I want to go second. Oh, my hand does nothing. All right, he's going to swing at us though. So we'll get to cycle. Once again, this just can't be correct. It just cannot be correct. This is going to let us cycle out both of our reds as well. Oh my lord. Oh my lord. That's terrifying. That is terrifying. Double E-Pot. Woo! This is going to be a game. This is going to be a game, but we did draw the pulping. Amazing. So if he hadn't launched an attack at us, once again, this for all you people who want to play against Levia, if you just don't throw an attack at us, look what happens. Look what happens. We would have bricked, but instead he threw. We got the filter and we found a good card. It's just what happens. That's just what happens. We can even Savage Feast here, reset Arsenal. Not bad. Not bad. Ethan, I heard you were main swapping to Kano after doing Arcane Rising Sealed. Well, you jest, Tim. You jest, Tim. But funny enough, it was pretty fun to play Kano simply because it started to make a lot of sense that Kano quite easily can block and just set up. Block, set up. You don't have to spike a lot of your damage until the kill turn at the very end. The issue I was having in that Arcane Rising Sealed game we did was my kill turn, Bree dropped the Dissipation Shield. And all of a sudden, I just couldn't win anymore. So that was unfortunate. That was unfortunate. But up until that point, it was actually starting to make sense. I hope we draw something relevant for the Arsenal here. Blood Rush. Talk about relevance. Talk about relevance. Jesus. Jesus Christ. This is, but hey, think about it. If we didn't dig 2 cards deeper, this game is insanely different. Insanely different. So we appreciate the swing. Arsenal. This hand is fine. If we... Okay. If we can pitch in Endless Maw to some arcane damage, this hand is super live. But if we can't, I'm terrified because I don't want to just YOLO the Blood Rush with 2 misses in hand. I would really appreciate a swing. Please swing at me. Please swing at me. Please. 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 Have like a Voltic Bolt. Oh no. Dang it. Alright, what do you think, chat? Do we risk it? Do we just say we have 60%, 66% chance to just go hard? What do you think? I kind of want to do it. He didn't even Arsenal that card. So he's a little bit clunking, right? He didn't put this in Arsenal. Do we just risk it? You should never risk it. But, it's a Talishar game, so who cares? I'm feeling it a little bit. Nope. Alright. Don't do that again. Nice. These in Arsenal also do nothing now. Interesting. Well, yikes. Talk about not wanting to put a card in Arsenal. I don't want to put either of these cards in Arsenal, but we'll do it. Alright, everyone said do it, and you were all wrong. Just FYI. Everyone was wrong. I was wrong. Man, we lost 18 damage. Oh well. Always, never risk it. That was the correct answer, actually. Tim knows. Now our hand... We could actually kind of go for a... We could go for a Hooves turn next turn. We can go Dread, Savage, discard Beast, crack Hooves, draw 2 cards, try to swing out with this horrible Deadwood Rumbler that we have in Arsenal. But if we do that, Sonic Boom's gonna hit. Play it this turn is over instant. Ugh, God, this is once again not a great spot. But I think we're gonna just send it again. We have the life. We have the life to try. I didn't say to do it. You were not wrong, you were 60% right. Wow. I don't think I can ever complain about Levia again if I get unlucky, because I wasn't wrong. I wasn't wrong. I just wasn't 100% right. Okay, and he hit a blue Aether, so that's not the biggest deal. That is a great way to start phrasing my Levia plays. Well, I wasn't wrong, alright? I was just not 100% right. Alright, he also had a bad turn. But our last turn was, like, really bad. Yeah, so we do crack hooves, get the extra action point for Savage. Just because, like, discard Beast with Savage is going to +2, and we really just want to swing the Deadwood Rumbler, get it out of here. This is going to be the turn where we end up with enough resources to do it. Because the other way is boring, but you know, we can just Dread Screamer into Pitch Beast Within for Deadwood, set Savage Feast in Arsenal. But we're spending hooves to hopefully deal 6 more damage and still reset Arsenal. So I'm gonna do it. I'm going to do it. I guess it is dependent on drawing a blue. But we're gonna send it a little bit. This is an aggro deck. We want the game to be over. My armory tonight is going to be Arc Draft. Only ever drafted it once. Any tips or advice? PS, I'm garbage at draft. Well, I was supposed to draft Arc this weekend with my team, but instead... Ooh, swing big? Well, that doesn't pay for Deadwood yet. That does pay for Deadwood. In fact, we can go even harder. We could Spring Tunic, Art of War, banish swing big, +1, draw. But then if we draw double red, we can't clear out Deadwood. Whereas now we could just... Ooh, I don't know. I kind of am down for it, though. This deck won't double draw red, right? It won't. It won't double draw red. We're just, like, going full send this game. Man, this is the greediest way to play Levia. I love it. Buff, banish. All right. I'll tell you why you're playing this deck wrong, as a person who has zero understanding how Levia works. Okay, go for it. Go for it. I mean, I read the entire guide that Vasily posted, and the first thing he said in all caps was no blocks. No blocks, full swing, every hand. This is a cureless deck. This means you have to play with your elbows, no thinking, just swing cards. Oh, I see. I see. That kind of advice, eh? I mean, that's what I'm trying, right? We're just, every card that deals damage, we're throwing it. We're just throwing that damage. If we lose here, we lose. But we did throw all the damage we could. This was definitely an elbow play. Our Blood Rush Bellow was definitely an elbow play. I guess we just kind of let all this happen. Okay, there was the Arc draft question. I've never actually drafted Arc. So I'm not sure I can truly give advice. I only played like Arc Sealed that one time. No, I'm not like dead. Come on. I can't be dead, right? Maybe. Through the weight of the world on your elbows and just swing cards. Oh, that's 6 damage. Wait, how much damage is this? We just took 4, 6, 10 plus the 4, 14. It's going to be 14 damage on Blazing. I mean, that's actually not death, though. That isn't death. It's pretty bad, but it is not death. Yeah, it's 14, but it's not death. Unless there's another Blazing on top. There isn't, though, right? Because he put the Ragamuffins already. Yeah, like I mean, that was a lot of damage, but like I think we just stabilize now and we're totally fine. Okay. That was interesting. That was interesting. We could even... Well, we could Claw with this hand, but that's 6 damage. It's 7 damage swinging Deadwood because of the Art of War. So we will do it. We did discard the... Okay, so we drew a blue Deadwood for Arsenal. That's not that good. We discarded the red. Banishing anything on Kano's end doesn't matter. We did already turn off Blood Debt. Our miss situation is 1, 2, 3 misses, so we might as well just go ahead and get a miss out. Yeah, it's fine. This is fine. This is fine. It sucks to Arsenal blue here because we really don't want to sink these as our playables. We want them to be our pitch cards, but so even then, do I want to Arsenal the Blue Dread? It's a go again, and he used Storm Starters already, so I think I do just do it. We do draw another blue. That's pretty nice. That's pretty nice. Yeah, so without Storm Striders, there's not much we're super afraid of because he'd be blind pitching unless he has an eye. So I think we just keep throwing our damage. We'll start with this. Did James White tell you Levia was not a big event hero? Yes, he actually did. And it was very strange. I think it was more of like a fun comment, where he's like, because I was talking with him at the banquet, and we had a bit of a back and forth just about like the trip itself, whatever, how are you doing? Wow, he went to 1. So all we really need to do is, oh, but we can't, okay. Well, we can't actually, man, that is annoying though. We can't actually just swing Claw next into Graveling because we haven't turned off Blood Debt. So I do have to play the Dread Screamer out. I do have to do that. This is going to force his hand. We can pitch at least 2 in. And this is going to force either 2 cards. He either blocks with 2 cards and doesn't go for lethal. Unless he has a defense reaction. He wouldn't run defense reactions. Okay, he's going for lethal. But if it's not lethal, then, we're fine to just swing Graveling after. And he shouldn't be able to block because there'll be 2 cards here. Plus he'd need 3 cards on Graveling. So we should win here. Unless he gets insane hits off the top. Which it looks like he already started to do with this Aether Spindle. That definitely is one of those hits. Yeesh. God. Yeah, okay. So at this point, I should just block everything I can. Because if he finds what he needs to kill me, then these cards, just go towards Kano and then paying for what he needs to kill me. But if he doesn't find what he needs to kill me, then these 2 cards have to go to blocking or he dies. So I should go ahead and sink my resources in here. Reduce the odds that he actually finds what he needs to kill me, but it is still likely he does, honestly. It is still likely he does. But you can dream. Yeah, so we were kind of joking around about Levia, and I said, hey, in Dynasty, I'd really appreciate, if you could throw us a bone. We kind of need it. And, all right, so we probably die here. Otherwise, he wouldn't do this. And James goes, Ethan, you don't have to play Levia. You don't have to do it. And that's a little, it's a little disheartening to hear, not going to lie. And we do lose here, by the way, because he gets to Metacarpus. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. That Blood Rush, missing 18 damage. Pretty rough. Pretty rough. Here it comes. Oh, come on, brother. You don't even need to play that. You got it right here. That's 6 damage. Oh, wait, no, it isn't, right? It's base 4? Ah, it's base 4. So it can be 6 with Metacarpus. Ah, okay, I forgot. I thought it was base 5 plus 6 with Metacarpus. Never mind. Never mind. He can still do it, though, if he finds some draw for extra blues into, like... Okay, so he played Gaze again. He's looking for... What do you do here? Like a draw card for 2 draws so that he can potentially go for pitch, Aether, pitch, some like other damage card? That doesn't line up with pitch, right? What's happening? Am I just like... He just needs like 1 more damage card though, right? To kill me with Metacarpus? Or can he not pay for Aether by pitching the blue? Interesting. I don't know. I'm not well versed in Kano enough, but I feel like he's short the resources now, right? Yeah, he is. GG's. Dang. Yeah, he is just short the resources, right? Like, you can't afford this. Okay, okay. Well, I feel like in person I would have just scooped. I feel like he had that game. But no, that is what. Yeah, so like, I guess you just shouldn't do that, right? Because he was in a spot to. No, no. Okay, okay. Never mind, never mind. He was gonna. If he didn't go for it, he was gonna lose anyway, right? Because if he would have to block 2 cards on the Dread Screamer, and then we were coming in for 7, and 2 cards would still leak 1, and he would die. So he did have to go for it. He didn't know we had the Graveling, to be fair. But him going for it got worse if our last card in hand was even a yellow. So he definitely had to be hopeful on that turn no matter what, I think. New to Kano, so still getting the math down. Haha. Yeah, I was scared with that double E-pot. Def opens up the big swings. Um, did I finish the James White story? I don't know. Maybe I did. The point of that story though is he really did kind of hint that like, look, these events have a lot of money in the line. Like you look at Worlds, right? First place gets $100,000. Second place gets $25,000. That's life changing. That is. You could get a new car, get a down payment on a house. In Europe, you could probably live happy for the rest of your life, but in America, you're probably still screwed getting that kind of money. But it definitely would feel good in the moment. Man, these events are big. They're big. And playing Levia is just not the deck that can really get you there. So, like Vasily, for example, Vasily, miracle run this weekend, top 4 at Nationals, great player. He built his deck to target the meta really well. We'll pull his deck back up. Really smart with how it's constructed to just really enable 5-card hands, which is not how I play Levia, but he really got it to function. Browse the Ancients, really smart card with the addition of Swing Big and Everfest. So, for example, he makes top 4 at Nats, but what actually loses him the top 4 game is Blood Debt. It was Blood Debt. And that sucks. It just sucks. Like, I didn't watch the full game. I've only heard secondhand what happened. But, if you're in top cut and you're losing a game like that, that's a very fundamental flaw with your hero. Because you're obviously good enough to make it there. You're in top 4. You're rolling through this event. But the Pied Piper's coming when it comes to actually losing to this blood debt mechanic that will happen at some point in your tournament run. Like for me, out of 12 games at the Calling, I lost 2 games to Levia stuff. Out of 12 games. And for me, that feels great because it's like, holy shit, that's better than normal. Normally it's like 1 every 5 games, and instead it was 1 in every 6 games. But you do just know it happens. It is impossible for it to just not happen, especially with this kind of deck. I mean, you can put a lot of faith into like playing your Pulpings and Wild Rides and for them to hit because you can't do anything else with these cards. They don't pitch, they don't block. So when you see them, you do have to play them. But what happens when you play one and it like hits an Artivore, like hits a Blood Rush, hits a Doomsday? Like it's not likely, but it does happen, and then the deck just falls apart. Like at the Pro Tour, Vasily was telling me he had like the worst experience with Wild Ride for that exact reason. It was like Wild Ride, discard Blood Rush, game over. Wild Ride, discard Artwork, game over. And man, when that happens, like there's just nothing you can do. And that is just Levi's problem. Reinar is not so much in that boat because he's never afraid of blood debt to self-kill. But he does play with these random mechanics that still feel bad. They don't lose in the game, but they do feel bad. But Reinar feels very competitive right now, I would say. There's a Reinar that made top 8 at the Calling. I was talking with him. Very nice guy, very skilled player. And he picked a good deck for the weekend. I just don't think he got the right matchup in top 8. I think he was hoping for the Oldhams and just like hit Icelander or something. All right, chat. Trying to gauge whether I should go the defensive little minimalism way to hedge with blues, the arcane, or full frontal Embermaw aggro to kill before I die. Any chance you could showcase a 5 versus Viserai game? Fi doesn't run Embermaw, right? Do you mean Ember Blade? I think you might mean Ember Blade. 5 versus Viserai? Sure. We can do that. This is the 5 deck I was working on that I went 4-0 with at Nationals and then dropped. Here it is. We can say, please play Vis. Great game. The Rhinar player did get the old him, he just misplayed. Oh, that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. He came up to me after the fact, and I thought he was just like a side event player or something, because I was just like hanging out and like playing, you know, for fun casually. I thought like all the big events were in some other room at that point, and we're talking, and I'm like, you know, he just drops like, oh yeah, I just made top 8 of the calling. I'm like, what the hell? Like, why are you hanging out with me? Go hang out with the pros. Jesus. That was cool. He was a nice guy. Noah says, just tuned in. Nice game, though. Yeah, I think my wildfire could have killed if I used the EPOP for Metacarpus. No, if you're still here, the tip I have for you, as a Levia player, nothing to do with Kano, but as a Levia player, do not swing, do not let me filter, do not do anything if you're going first. If you're going first and I'm going second, don't do anything that can help me tune my hand. Because if you go back and watch the start of that game, I had nothing playable in my opening hand. Like, it just wouldn't do anything. It would deal like maybe 6 damage, right? But when you swung into me, I was able to cycle out the unplayables into my null rune. And then all of a sudden, you know, the hand just kind of took off. So that'd be my tip. When you play against Levia as any hero, if the Levia is going second, and honestly, you should make the Levia go second. Just don't swing. Arsenal, like, set up whatever you can and just pass. Don't let the Levia cycle. Don't let her fill graveyard. Okay, we got the Viserai. Hi. Thank you. Jesus, feels like forever since I played Vi now. We're a Levia player, guys. We're a Levia player. We're putting in the erase face for sure. He's choosing who goes first. He chose for himself to go first. That makes sense. When he goes first, this is kind of a toss-up spot for me as well. Is they sometimes run Consuming Volition. So I kind of prefer Sinks to That All You Got blocking Rosetta. So I think we'll go that route. For equipment, we're going to go here. I actually don't really like Tide Flippers into Viserai. In fact, I definitely don't like Tide Flippers into Viserai. We'll do this. Oh! Alright, we added 2 Sink Blows to the deck, and we immediately drew them. That's not great. Tide Flippers just don't threaten the same way that, like, a potential, you know, snatch at the end of a chain can. And that comes up a lot when you're facing aggro, is you do want to punish when they don't block something like that. But in this scenario, we will leak some arcane damage going first here. Which is actually, that's a real consideration. Going second, I probably still should have taken Tide Flippers. Man, this really sucks. This is very unfortunate. I mean, we kind of want to just sink away the other sink. Yee. Just in case this next attack is not Rosetta, we'll block this way because it blocks the same damage, I guess. So you're going the full aggro all-in kill before you get killed? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Viserai has too many above rate cards. He has too many 0 for 5s. And that amount of 0 for 5s in an aggro deck, I mean, that's better than what Fi can do. It absolutely is better than what Fi can do. And you don't want to prolong the game to let him find those, because they're just better than what you can do. They're just better. It's the same deal when you're playing Levia into Viserai. You want to end the game quick because he just has these insanely good low-effort spike hands. What other plan does Fi have? That's also pretty fair. What other plan does Fi have? Yeah, well, you do just kind of slap him, no matter what. We'll set up for the 5-card Art of War here, in that case. This won't be a great going second hand, but it will at least demand interaction. Um, and this is why we do take Snatch, because in theory, he could just totally disrespect the way we have to play this hand by just, ending with Snatch here. By doing it this way, it definitely feels bad, but he should start to consider the fact that we could Snatch snaps, for sure. Yeah, see? They do have to then respect it. And that's honestly pretty important in an aggro match, because you get extra equipment out of them that doesn't stop mask. I don't really know if he was supposed to block that way. I'm not sure his hand, but he should definitely prioritize playing Revel. Like 1000%. Okay, so he had an erase face hand. An erase face hand into what we drew is actually not gonna. I mean, our hand kind of just clunked anyway. Still missing a blue after 2 full hands now. He blocked with Revel, but it's because he wanted to go for erase. So he pitched Become. He blocked with Spellblade and Revel, which I guess, like, you would think this is like a Mavrian or another Spellblade, so I don't know. Like, in theory, Become could have discarded this for the PC's missing or just be the blue pitch for the turn, but oof, yeah, our hand is really not functional. Not functional. That is unfortunate. We'll just save the HP and return 4 and just wait for a better Art of War turn. Not a great hand there. Not a great hand. If one of those was blue, we could actually consider some equipment blocks. This is just 4 damage, no hit effect now. No hit effect now. He still blocks. That just, okay. I mean, at this point, that just can't be right, though. Sorry. All right, this is a good Art of War hand. He is gonna maybe force something. Oh yeah, I mean, that is quite the tall attack there, buddy. With that red Mavrian. Do we really feel we outdamaged that hand? Most likely. Most likely. It sucks. But we should be able to outdamage that hand with this Art of War. We should. Although we could just like clunk and draw blues because we didn't find blues on those previous turns. That would be unfortunate. Would have felt worse if you had the perfect hand and he threw a race face. There's a lot of hands actually that you don't really care too much about a race face because you can just end your turn with Searing. Blocks don't help me. No, they don't help me in this for sure. But going down to 20 doesn't help me either. There's a lot of turns the race face actually doesn't really like do anything against Fi. Like those lava veins were probably some of the best things to draw into that turn because they definitely don't work if I block a race face. But if they were like any of the other go-agains, then that turn can just turn into like go wide, end with Ember. And sure, you lose like 1 damage from not being able to Tiger Stripe. But for the most part, you're set. Okay. So we can start with this. We will Art of War in the reaction window. Be sneaky, sneaky. Okay. Blocking with a sift. We're gonna buff. We're gonna banish. We're gonna banish Lava Vein. Nice. That is kind of the perfect draw sequence. We'll just Arsenal Rise. No need to break the chain here. I guess we could. Breaking the chain still lets us go 1, 2, Phoenix Lava. We can still get our Rupture off if we play Rise this turn. I don't really want to play Rise this turn necessarily, though. If I sit on an Arsenal, it's going to be a huge rally card whenever I find Flamecall Awakening going to that next turn cycle. But if I get a mass draw through, then perhaps I will have wished I played this. Man, that's a tough call. That is a tough call. I think we're going to force... Oh, that is a tough call, because I'm going to swing Searing here. He's going to block with it. Then we'll go Blazing. Nah. We're just going to play the Rise. We're going to do it. 8 go again. This. He did look pretty eager to block, but he misclicked and showed us Mordred. So I think he's just not blocking necessarily in the right spots, because he definitely doesn't want to play to block with Mordred. He should want to keep that card. This is just going to eat his crown though, which is fine. We're still going to push 7 on Lava Burst. We eat his crown for next turn. Okay. This hand leaves a little be desired. I mean, it's kind of our snaps hand. You know, they do come up. They do come up. We sent a Lava Burst to the bottom on like turn 2. So this is our pretty much last Lava Burst we're going to see this game. Pretty much. We also don't hate just... Okay, yeah. This is the other thing we can do. Just double block here, throw double strike for 3 damage because of Shuko, Arsenal Lava Burst for our next big turn. We don't really want to snaps. This hand is super low value. So we're just going to do this, double strike Arsenal Lava. Wasn't a flame in yard? There's only the one flame. We'll take it. He hasn't had a brick hand yet. We do hope that comes up. It is Viserai, after all, playing without Arsenal. And here we go. All right. We're really trying to set up for... Okay, it looks like his hand is functional, which is a little unfortunate. Drawing Phoenix. At least we have a Belittle to actually make use of that. I definitely... Oh, God, I hate drawing Phoenix. That's like the one problem with this build. I only run 2 Phoenix. One goes to the graveyard, and then the other one you're supposed to pull out with Flame Call. There wasn't a flame in yard. No, I pulled the Phoenix Flame with Rise from the Ashes. There's only one Phoenix at that point. Only one Phoenix at that point. Okay, well, here comes... Jesus, I mean, what could this card be? Could it be a Revel? Could it be a Gloomveil? Could it be 0 for 5s? Most likely, yes. Most likely, yes. Yeah, there isn't really much we can do if it is one of the 0 for 5s. This next turn does look to get 1 Shuko value. He has enough equipment to still block Mask by just chumping these. So we're only going to, in theory, be able to go... We don't even know if we'll get to keep this full hand in theory, because we'll block here. He'll go up to 8 Rune Chance, 2 Arcane. So we do just die if it's Revel, which is fun. But we didn't have a blue anyway. So, nice and interesting. Nice and interesting. Draw your Flame Call. I would love to draw the Flame Call. Alright, is it Revel? Okay, it's Swarming. Swarming we can at least survive, but it's not fun. It is not fun. Not when your hand blocks all for 2. So, I mean, this is the only thing we can really afford to block with. Because we do want to... No, actually, we can't even block here because then Belittle doesn't pull the Minnowism. So we're losing a damage by blocking with Blaze. But it has to be Blaze, otherwise we can't pull Minnowism to then Searing, to then get Phoenix, to then Lava Burst. And that won't even win the game, but it is all we have. It is all we have. All right. Very much looking to be game over. We had a really, really poor turn 0 hand. And actually, going second, it really should have been tide flippers, to be fair. Really should have been. So we did mess that up. But it's okay, I don't even think about Fi anymore. I went 4-0 and I was like, I'm never playing this hero again. I really do want to play. Oh, someone further up actually mentioned, just joined, are you on 5 for Worlds? Ugh, I don't want to be. Oh man, did he brick this hand? Please, please, please. Let me outplay you, Viserai, by having you brick. Because that's so fun. Jesus. I don't want to be on 5 for Worlds. I went 4-0 with him at Nationals and immediately quit the deck. I was like, those 4 games were not nearly as satisfying as even one Levia loss. So I went over, played the calling with Levia, went 8-4, and had the best time of my life. That was so much more fun. Especially since when I sit down with Levia, people are like, oh, I get to play Mansant on Levia, and it's just a better experience. Whereas when I sit down with Fi, and my opponent's like, oh, I forgot you're on Fi these days. I'm like, ugh, yeah, I know. Meta Slave, I'm sorry. All right, well, we will lose, because he definitely has a Rosette activation hand. Oh, but actually, funny story about Levia and Fi. Funny story. In Nationals, because I started 0-3 in draft with that horrible Icelander deck, probably the worst you've ever seen, because I started 0-3, I thought about it. I'm like, okay, what happens if I just start playing Levia for the CC rounds? Like, if the judges find out, I'll get DQ'd. But at the same time, like, I'm already dropping the event. So does it really matter? And, yep, I'm not going to block. Come on, game. Stop freezing. There we go. GG's. GG's. All right, I want to go back to Levia. Fi is not that interesting. Defeat Wrath, heroes only. No, thank you. So I was thinking about it, and I'm like, if I just play Levia, what happens if I get caught? Is it a weekend DQ? Or is it just a oh, shoot, this is the wrong hero. No, thank you. Is it like a weekend-long DQ? Or is it, shoot, where's the list? What the heck? Is it a weekend-long DQ? Or will I just get dropped from Nationals? Because if I just get dropped from Nationals, I don't really care. Because that's already what I was planning to do. So, for every opponent I came across in Nationals, I offered. I was like, hey, I registered Fi, but if you don't mind, I'd like to play Levia. And if I get caught, you get the win. No matter what. And I offered that to every single one of my opponents. And they all said no. They all were like, no, I don't want to do that. And I was like, okay, you're lost. So then I played Fi, and I beat all of them. I went 4-0. And it's even worse because I was... Okay, we get to play against another Dash. This is good practice. It's even worse because I played against like an Ice Lexi and a Bravo who were super convinced that they had good matchups into Fi. And they do. I still won those games just from the practice I'd put in. And I mean, I didn't say anything after the fact like, well, you should have played against my Levia. I didn't make any comments like that, but I definitely thought it in my head. I was like, you guys all should have just let me get practice on Levia, man. Because it would have been a better game than just losing to Fi. Like, who wants to lose to Fi? Yeah. And then, actually, after that, I did ask my judge friend. She's a level 2 judge who was there, who was staying with me at the test house. And I did ask, I'm like, so would it have been a weekend-long DQ or just an event DQ? And she said, if you claimed you didn't know, if you played dumb, if you were just like, oh, I thought I submitted Levia, then it would only be a event DQ. I'd only get disqualified from Nationals. But if they found out that I had done it intentionally, it'd be considered like cheating, and I would have been DQ'd from the weekend. So I guess we'll just never know. In an alternate timeline, I just played Levia anyway. In an alternate timeline, my opponents agreed to play Levia, for me to play Levia. And I would have liked to know what happened. Because going 4-0 with Fi was very unexciting. But to get more games with Levia against good players is always a treat. And it would have been good practice going into the calling. for sure. Because when I went into the calling, I really hadn't played much Levia. Like I'd been jamming Fi games the entire like couple nights before, just in prep for Nats. That didn't even matter because I went 0-3 in draft. So their loss. Their loss. Could have played some Levia games. Um. All right, Dash. Oh, I didn't even say anything. Hi. Are you ready? I didn't even say anything. That's my bad. That's my bad. Hey, sorry. All good. All good. We'll jump into the game quick enough. There's actually a lot of stories that came out of this Nationals that are pretty saucy. It's not my place to tell some of these stories, but like Pheno Black and Tyler Horsepool have some insane stories from Nationals. Like I can't believe what happened to them. Like it's not my place to say it, but I would watch for them like on Twitter in case they post about it, or maybe Pheno. I think Pheno said he might even stream at some point. There was some drama this weekend, guys. Some drama. Like, not everyone is a very friendly. Dang. Not everyone is a very friendly Fab player. Let's put it that way. Nothing against Tyler or Pheno. It was things that happened to them. It's things that happened to them. Just ridiculous. Ridiculous that people pull that kind of shit. But I almost added to the drama. I almost played Levia and got DQ'd from Nats. I kind of wish it happened, honestly. Add a bit of spice to the event. Tyler posted a Google Doc. Oh, he did already. All right, so then his story's out there. I guess we can talk about it if it's already out there. But Pheno, damn, I feel bad for Pheno. His story was heartbreaking. Wow. Well, for all that is holy, I really want to roll Scabs here. Holy crap. I feel like rolling Scabs would be insane. We could get double swing big off. All right, we rolled a 6. We are good at this game. We're coming in for 14 damage turn 2. Through this round's on me. Insane. Paul says, oh, what's up, Paul? Oh my god, you were at Nats. Did I see you? I feel like I didn't even see you. I saw some of the other Michigan people. I had a really awkward story from Nats. On day 2 draft, I won a game because an opponent blocked my turn starting Phoenix Flame, which was 0. Oh god. Oh man, that sucks. That sucks. Yeah, I guess if you just don't announce how much damage it is, people just assume the Phoenix Flame is won. I don't like winning games like that, but, you know, I guess you don't have to say it. Alright, yeah, so if Tyler put his story out, then I can talk about it. But basically, Tyler Horsepool, right? Very, like, everyone knows Tyler at this point, or you should, because he's definitely a player to watch. He had this horrible situation come up where, he was, oh, this isn't bad. We're seeing all 3 swing bigs in the first 2 hands. Not bad. Paul says, I don't remember seeing you, but I ended up 9-5 in Nats. Bubbled out of the money, but proud of your performance. 68th. Well done, my friend. Well done. I hope your draft was actually solid. My draft was like the worst you've ever seen. I think we want to guarantee that Beast Within hits more than keep the swing big, because we're going to be starting by pitching a yellow, so the extra card is going to pull a lot of weight in making this hand work. I don't know about shooting there, though, because it does waste the quicken. Yeah, I don't know about shooting there. All right, nice. We did only lose 1 life with Wild Ride. Okay. Well, we are going to be forced to try to Art of War to cycle here. Otherwise, our turn can be Claw, Claw, Swing, but it's going to waste our arsenal. The pain of starting with a yellow over a blue. I guess if we Art of War, we really hope to draw. If we draw even a blue and a red, then we can still Claw, Claw, Hungering for +1 damage. Lose Arsenal, so we always still should Art of War. Yeah. Okay, that's exactly what we wanted to happen. In fact, it works out better because we hit Graveling, so we don't even need to spend the Hungry. So that's pretty fantastic. That is like the god draw. That's why I love Art of War. Sometimes it hits, baby. It does feel pretty unfair when you hit like the perfect curve you're looking for off of an Art of War. Like a lot of times, I'll play an Art of War on an all red hand, just because there is a chance you could draw like a blue and a Graveling Growl, and then like holy shit, your turn's insane because you get to play like your swing big or whatever you had, pitch the blue, Graveling Growl, all just because you started with Art of War pitch red. It does come up. It does come up. And this is one of those situations we weren't even hoping to draw the Graveling plus blue, but it's what happened. It's like the best draw there. I don't have any way to post a link to the Google Doc, or I would share it here with everyone. He posted on the Fab Facebook. All right, in that case, I won't try to paraphrase anything he said if it's that easily accessible. You all can just find it if you want it. But let me just say, let me just say that was gross. If you'd like the story about what happened to Tyler Horspool, he has posted about it on Facebook. And I don't have a way to post the link to the Google Doc. You can just like, if it's on Facebook, you can click like share this post, and it should give you a link, and then you can just drop it in the chat for everybody. Let me see if Fino wrote about his story. I'll check his Twitter, because his story was awful. Let's see, Fino Black. Let's see. No, it looks like he has not posted about it. That story will come on another day. Chat won't let me post links. Oh, sorry. I think I can enable that. What is my turn? My turn is I don't deal damage unless I Scabskin's Hand, which is not great. The most we can do with this is 7 with Hungering, and I guess Arsenal the Savage Feast, because we're not trying to roll Scabs. So we'll just block down. John, you can message. All right, let me add you as a moderator, and then I'll remove it. You can go ahead and post that link. Oh, well, geez, now I do want to roll Scabs. Come on, I didn't get to block with the other card. I can't hope to hit again, can I? I don't have Blood Debt, so it's not the worst. I don't have Blood Debt, but you really should never roll Scabs by taking Gamblers. Like, holy moly. Or without taking Gamblers. Holy freaking moly. Oof. I mean, he's going for items, so worst case for us, if we just, like, miss, is his turn is just loading a bunch of counters, dropping another item on a full hand like that. Yeah, we're not gonna... We can't do nothing. We'll swing the Hungering. It's on his Twitter, too. Okay, there you go, John. That's the doc. I haven't even read it, actually. I was just there for it. Ooh, nice. All right, nice, nice. Hope you people give that a read. It's just Talishar, lol. 3012 where my drafts. This format is so swingy, says Paul. Oh, Paul. I feel like I kind of put draft in the best spot I could for myself, and then my brain just melted out of my ear in that first pod. Because were you at the Pro Tour, Paul? I don't remember. I feel like I said hi to you there. But crazy thing. Okay, look, he actually had the hand that I was talking about, where if we didn't swing, he could do the thing. Oh wait, no, he didn't play a plasma. When it pops up like that, it looks like they play it, but he didn't play. He just loaded it. So it comes in for 2. Our hand is gonna go wide, probably get some mandible swings off, so no block. All my brute opponents on Talishar roll Scabs like there's no tomorrow. Ain't me, friend. I ain't trying to do that. Alright, we're gonna say go again, banish. I mean, we'll lead with the Savage just because it turns on claws and could draw us a blue. Okay, it traded a red for a yellow. That's allowed. In fact, this still lets us claw into Graveling plus Arsenal Dread Screamer. It's really not bad. It's really not bad. Oh, that's right. Okay. All right, Paul. Crazy story, right? Crazy story about how the draft worked out on my end. I really feel like, I was set. I was ready with my game plan. But then I had like a freaking panic attack on the table because somehow there were 3 Americans in my Pro Tour Lille draft pod. There were 3 Americans, me, James, and I think his name's Andy or something. And we were all in the same pod in Lille. And we'd already played with each other. And I already had an idea of like what everyone was going to play because of having played with them around before. Then, lo and behold, at freaking Nationals, somehow me, James, and Andy, I really don't think his name is Andy, so I apologize, are in the same draft pod. And we're all looking at each other like, what on earth? Like, there's something behind this, There's like a pairing system to do with numbers, or there's something with our names. Like, this shouldn't happen, right? Like, it just should not happen that way. We have enough go again that we'll just say buff and banish. It shouldn't happen that way at all. And it was like a little frustrating because then we were all like in each other's heads about what we play because we'd already been in pods with each other at Lille. Oh, please don't miss on this discard, by the way. I'm really like not even prepared for it. And so all of a sudden my game plan went out the freaking window because I knew that James was going to go Icelander. He always goes Icelander. That's his strat, is force Icelander from pick 1. And I figured, okay. We're actually like the farthest away from each other. Or not the farthest, but one seat over. And I'm like, okay, if I know he's going to force Icelander, then if I start forcing Icelander, we should send enough signals around the pod that Icelander is just off limits. Because if we both commit from pack 1, like, we'll be safe. So I gave up with my Dromai plan immediately, literally because James was there and we had drafted at Lille before. And I shouldn't have done that. But I tried to like get ahead of the strategy of it, And man, it sucked. It was just like so wrong to do that. I don't really want to waste this go again just to swing in with the claw. We're pretty safe to just swing Deadwood for 7, I think. Otherwise, we go 6. Yeah, we do spread the damage pretty well, but we waste the go again on Dread Screamer, which I don't want to do. So we'll do this. Yeah, the ELO was updated. The ELO was updated in between Pro Tour and Nats was the thing. It got updated like right before Nationals. We will go ahead and banish something in his graveyard, just in case. I guess what potentially matters? Probably nothing. Spark of Genius. Yeah, so like, I don't know. I just like freaked out and I'm like, okay, improv strat on the table because James is going to know that I want to go Dromai because I went Dromai in Lille. But I'm going to get ahead of it and try to force Icelander because I know he's on Icelander so that we can kind of lock the table from anyone else picking Icelander and kind of like make it a safe bet. That's all of a sudden what my little brain was thinking of, right? Unfortunately, there were somehow 4 Icelanders on the table, even though we were both Icelander locked from pack 1, passing signals. Somehow the dude won over from me was also Icelander, and somehow the dude on the other side of me won over was also Icelander. And once I caught that on like pick 6, I started freaking out because it was obvious that we were all screwing each other. Like all these Icelanders were going to be trash. And James kept giving me the look. And we're friends with each other. Like we weren't trying to like, hide any information at that point. It was just like, bro, I know this is awful. Like this draft has been fucked basically. But I just don't play enough to know when pivoting is safe. I don't really like pivoting because I like just forcing Dromai. So it scared me because I was definitely not comfortable pivoting from Icelander. I felt like by pack 6, it was just going to be impossible. Like my graveyard would just be, or not my graveyard, my cards would just be like so low quality at that point. Like how could I do anything? So I just hoped that someone else would pivot, not me. And then, of course, no one pivoted. And so we all ended up with trash Icelanders, and then I played against 2 Fis. Of course. And then one of the Icelander mirrors I had, I won the die roll, went second, felt great. drew a hand that dealt 0 arcane damage. It's like one of the only hands possible in my deck that dealt 0 arcane damage. And man, it was bad. Yeah, that draft was cursed. That draft was like so beyond cursed for me. I fucked it up though. I should have just stuck Dromai, but it freaked me out because of the gem pairings. It was the exact same thing as the players I played with in Leo. Like that just, to me, that just didn't seem right. And it got in my head. And I was so wrong. So wrong. This is unfortunate. We were really hoping to draw a resource card here, so best bet is we play one of these, draw a yellow, discard one of the reds, and then the yellow-red can still pay for Endless. If we draw a blue, I mean, even better. I mean, we play the Wild Ride because it could be a defense reaction in Arsenal. Okay, this works. It's not great, but it does work. In fact, we might as well just play... We could just play the Pulping Riled Up now. We will take 4 Blood Debt, but like, he's on Fatigue. Okay, good. He does play the defense reaction out. It would have shut off Pulping. He's on Fatigue. So our Blood Debt right now is really not a huge issue. It will be eventually, but for right now is not the biggest deal. Sure. Oh, it was a... Wow, that's funny. I definitely didn't consider that draw sequence. But that is definitely more damage than pitching both in for Endless Maw. Pivoting isn't safe in UPR draft. Oh, what's up, Teklo? Were you at Nats? I saw Ethnic Smoke. I feel like you guys are friends. Yeah, well, okay. As I talked to people after the fact, it turns out it is safe. The issue was the only thing you can really pivot towards that late as an Icelander is Fi. And so, because you get to put 3 Phoenix Flame in your deck, right? And so when you pivot late, you do get more leeway because your deck can then be filled with Phoenix Flames. And I didn't even think of that. But if I did, then obviously that was the route I should have gone down. Like, I absolutely should have gone that route. But I didn't think about it. All right, this could easily be a defense reaction. It's like all this dude is playing. So leading with Pulping is terrifying, but at the same time, what else can we really do to pressure with this hand? I think we'll give it a go. Like, in theory, if we discard the Mark of the Beast, which we did, nice, our Blood Debt is still off. So we don't hate it, even if he turns off the go again. One thing I've learned from this draft is that people are just going to draft whatever the hell they want. It's so much more important to read signals from the right person as best as you can. Yeah, and that was the other thing. The person directly on my right was going Dromai. So I did feel good at first with not going Dromai because I was going to get screwed 2 packs in a row. Right? First pack, third pack, if I just went Dromai from the get-go. So that was also feeding my decision of like, okay, Icelander was correct. Icelander was correct. But of course it wasn't. Of course, we found out that it definitely wasn't. Pretty much the latest you can pivot is pick 6. After that, you're pretty much guaranteed you'll have bubbles. Exactly. And that's what freaked me out because it was like quite literally pick 6 when I saw the guy that was to the right of James basically had to also be on Icelander because at that point there was like nothing left. So that meant there were 3 Icelander picks ahead of me by pick 6. And that was terrifying. At that point, I'm like, well, I think it's too late. But I guess it wasn't, right? I guess it actually wasn't. It should have been right then and there that I switch. John. Wow, I didn't expect my deck to do that. This can be a positive or negative statement depending on what the deck just did. Oh, I shouldn't make you a moderator? You can have it if you want. There's not much moderation to be done. It's normally just like a couple bots here and there. Everyone else is pretty chill. But sure, I'll take it away if you want. I just wasn't up for the 6-hour flight from Seattle. Dude, I drove 13 hours. I drove 13 hours. Okay, that was fantastic. From upstate New York to Charlotte. It was insane. I do not do those kind of drives in one day. But I wasn't the one driving. My friend Lee was like, I don't like flying, we're going to drive. And to be fair, splitting gas between like 3 people really wasn't bad. It was like $80. Right? Like that's pretty great. But holy shit, that was a lot. A lot. We're very thankful our deck is just kind of discarding and playing the exact way you want it to. Oh shoot, I forgot to play music this stream. Jesus. Dang it, people. Tim, why don't you remind me, brother? Why don't you remind me? I said in the beginning, I feel like something's missing. Someone remind me. It was the music. Don't disparage the Data Doll players like that. Hey, it's the Levia stream. We welcome all Data Doll players. We do love you. You're definitely more insane than we are. But we respect that you exist. I think he's over the fence playing in Worlds since it's a mix of UPR, Draft, and Blitz. Personally, I'm more excited about the calling. That's what I've heard from a lot of high-level players. They're legitimately saying that they're more excited to just like sell their PTI, fund the trip, and play in the calling. Like that is just more exciting than playing Worlds. And honestly, I see it. I can totally get behind that, honestly. I want to go mostly because I would like to play Levia in the CC portion. I really think she's a safe bet for CC. Like, not even kidding. Not even kidding. Alright, we are like... I mean, this is full fatigue dash. It's happening. I mean, we didn't take gamblers because I was expecting that they were going to race. And now we're in that point where we can't really roll scabs for all the free value it could generate. So that was definitely incorrect. We should have hedged fatigue and taken gamblers for sure. Because now we're very scared of everything, basically. Very scared. Very scared. We have played through Art of War, Art of War, Art of War, Blood Rush, Blood Rush, Blood Rush, Wild Ride, Wild Ride, oops, Wild Ride, Pulping, 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 Dread Screamer, Dread Screamer, Dread Screamer. Alright, we will likely just lose this game then. There's not much else we can do to actually apply pressure here. Not much else we can do. It was also a little unfortunate. We had to pitch Deep Rooted Evil on that first cycle Blood Rush. It could have been something we pitched into a couple times this game. Because now we're like truly out of go again. We will have to really just get lucky with scab skins. Like that's what we have to like legitimately play for now. Which is not great. But hey, if we hit a 6, like we can still win. We can definitely still win. I think Blitz and EPR Draft are very unattractive to the pros since they're so volatile. CC is the premier format for a reason. Yes, yes, that is definitely the issue that people are echoing. I personally just hate Blitz. I think it's honestly one of the worst new player experiences. It is not a helpful format for armories, apart from the fact that it's short games. But it just should not be the format they're pushing with Young Heroes. You might have heard it before, but there is like a Clash format that Team Covenant and I are putting together an event for. And we really are trying to make this format more thematically young. Some things are powered down, can't run legendaries, for example. But that's the kind of format that should fill the void that is Blitz. Like, Blitz as a team format is actually pretty interesting. It's like playing a best of 3, which kind of reduces the variance of it, right? But Blitz as a best of 1 is, just not fun. All right, we're going to roll scabs. If we lose here, I mean, the game was probably over anyway. We're out of go again. Blitz is bad for new players. Like, it's exactly true. Oh, wait, we did roll a 4, but it's not like we can get over much of his hand here, in all honesty. I mean, we'll try. We'll do what we can. Like, we can come in for 7-6, leave the Hungering in Arsenal for a better turn. Very unfortunate we have to just keep rolling scabs in this position, though. But hey, if we get lucky, we win. If we get lucky, we win. I'd hate being crushed because I started 20 rather than 25, 26. Yeah, the whole idea of Clash format is to tone it down for the new player experience of I'm playing a young hero who is not at full power yet. So far, the rules we're working with need a bit of toying still, but idea being no legendaries, only majestics that are allowed would be an equipment slot or mentor slot. All young heroes playable, that kind of thing. It's just what Team Covenant was talking about with their Commoner streams. They feel like there's some intermediate format between Commoner and Blitz that would just be better for the game. That's just not real yet. So we are trying to. I even have a thing for it, like Clash coming soon. You see that? But I just don't have the video even close to made yet, so I'm hiding it. Yeah. Anyway, hopefully we get on top of that plan soon. I need to just get some shit together, but you know, I am still missing all my camera gear, so it would just be kind of like a webcam video, which is not super fun. Just is what it is. All right. Well, we do have a 12 damage turn without rolling scabs, which is kind of cool. If this was another blue in hand, not a boneyard, we could roll scabs to try to make Deep Rooted a play into, or Soul Harvest into the Deep Rooted Evil rather, for an 18, maybe 20 damage turn. But yeah, we can just go ahead and play the Soul Harvest here. Rouse. I wasn't paying attention to pitch stack at all this game, honestly. I've been talking a lot to chat. I doubt we have any more 7 attacks in hand. So, Rouse is most likely just not playable anymore this game. But in the off chance it is, we'll bottom that, top the Rouse. And we'll go ahead and get rid of enough blood debt to make this 12. We definitely want to hit the endless. That's 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 12 damage. You need a daze. My luggage has been lost counter. Oh, actually, there are some decent updates to the whole. Oh man, I haven't actually. Speaking of updates, I haven't updated this at all. What are we? 4-1. Didn't I lose a game? I don't know. This tracker's all off. The music was off. We're forgetting how to be streamers, folks. Yeah, actually, some good news on the FedEx front. I did file the claim. It took a lot. It took a freaking lot to actually like get it all together, remember everything that was in there, and the total amount of the valuables was $5,620. And that's a lot. That's more than I thought was in there, honestly. Definitely more than I thought was in there. All right, so if we Arsenal the Rouse, it actually is playable, so that is something we can look for sure. Because we genuinely have that line still up for us, I don't want to roll scabs here. I'd rather just play out the 7 Arsenal Rouse. So the claim has been made officially now. I hope they at least honor how much it should be worth, and if not pay me that, at least put that amount of man hours into finding it. That would be quite nice. That would be quite nice. I don't really know how they operate, but that would be my hope. The other thing that happened there, though, was they have agreed to pay reparations for every day it is lost up to $25. I do need to prove that there's depreciating value in this luggage, which, I mean, honestly, there are. I mean, things are depreciating in value. Like, some cards are dropping. Nice. Some cards are dropping, for example. Also, like, the potential lost revenue from streaming. I mean, there are things I can factor in. I don't think I can quite prove it's worth $25 a day, but I should at least get something from them for each day it was lost, which does feel nice. That does feel quite nice. All right, maybe we can still make this game work for us. We need to set up another turn of putting Rouse in Arsenal. I really doubt we win. But like this kind of situation, rolling scabs does let us get more damage through. We can squeeze in like an extra claw boneyard. Ugh, that's just so bad. But it's 3 damage. We do need to end the game or we lose anyway. So we should roll it. We rolled a 1. We don't lose to the blood debt, which is kind of funny. But we will try again next turn. That's just what we have to do here. Definitely what we just have to do here. Have you considered quantifying probably is the right word there, but commons, rares, majestic, legendaries, and essentially making an X-point format. That is more work than what we just initially pitched, for sure. But hey, like that is one way to try to break down the power level of a format. I don't think I'm the right person to do that. I'm not a numbers person like at all, but that is one way to approach like tuning down the power of a young hero format for sure. I was recording some Talzar games this afternoon and played Blitz. 5 turn 0 pushed 10 damage over my blocks, and then I swung back like 20. What a weird format. It's super odd. It's really odd. Well, once again, we're actually a little bit more safe to roll here because we can at least turn off Blood Debt. Rip that 1 hurt. Nah, the 1 really didn't matter there. I mean, the game's over regardless if we don't hit on that kind of stuff. Alright, now we can roll scabs and at least... Alright, we rolled a 4. Hey, this is pretty good. This is not bad. I mean, most damage just becomes like claw deadwood, I guess. Keep the boneyard for a potential other turn. Sure. Physicist, there you go, Marius. You're in the money. I certainly ain't. No, sir, I ain't. Yeah. Scabs are our friends. Well, what has it been? It's been like 4, 6, 1, 4. Not great, but we didn't lose, so that's nice to know. We actually, like, really could still win this game. We just need to set up the rouse to keep pushing damage like this and preserve our ways to turn off Blood Debt across turns. That'd be quite nice. That would be the way we do it. We can also catch him at some point. He's got these non-blocks. He's got like the multiple oasis and like the heart in there. Yeah, so we can go ahead. Is there any reason to sink this hand? What would we be digging for? Not really. I mean, we're going to roll scabs again because we at least have the Dread Screamer to lead things off. So, nope, we'll take it. And here we go. Turn off Blood Debt, roll scabs. That's the game plan. That's all we got. Roll to 5. If there's a world where we win, it is this world. It is definitely this timeline. Alright, what we don't want to do is play both of these out, though. We want to pitch in the Hungering for the Graveling, for sure. Ooh, I guess, or we just Claw Graveling. Claw Graveling doesn't quite get us there, though. But if we just don't draw a way to turn off Blood Debt next turn, like I said, I've barely been paying attention. I should have started to pay attention, that's for sure. I feel like there's like a Blue Dread still, right? I think there's, next hand's a Blue Dread Screamer. Nope, there's the Blue Dread Screamer there. Sure, though. Sure. You know what's great in these situations? Intimidate. Oh, yeah. I mean... Oh, we hit Deep-Rooted. Oh, this is perfect. We can Arsenal the Hungering now. Yeah. Hey, Intimidate. That is a great mechanic for closing out games like this. For sure, for sure. Alright, we do know next hand is the Rouse hand, though. And for the Rouse hand, we'll want to play out the Hungering, set the Rouse in Arsenal. So that does still work for us. Oh, but... we have none floating anymore. Oh, never mind. This doesn't work the way I thought it did. I think we really just don't draw a way to turn off Blood Debt next turn, and that is going to suck. I forget. We'll just do it. This has been a long game of talking to chat instead of paying attention to the game, but honestly, I prefer it that way. Yeah. Alright, I hope they swing so we can crown, but I do think the next card doesn't turn off Blood Debt either. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. Alright, well, actually, we can risk it now. We can risk it. See, this is the other thing, though. The deck doesn't run Writhing Beast Hulk, which is a little funky because, like, Writhing also is just insane for situations like this. It's so good. He does just lose to Reckless Swing, though, which is also, like, a little odd. Like, I'm pretty sure the next card is... It's either the next card or the card after is Reckless Swing. So I hope he forgets about that. I also hope this Deadwood actually hits, because obviously if it doesn't, we lose. Which would be pretty unfortunate. Pretty unfortunate. We could protect HP here, but we do really want this Deadwood Rumbler to hit. We really do. That's our win con, more than anything. Because if this Deadwood Rumbler hits, then we just sit on Reckless and he loses. That does have to be what we end up doing. I think it's going to happen, in all honesty. Alright, it did happen. Beautiful. The next card wasn't Reckless Swing. So now we're going to turn off Blood Debt. We're going to Arsenal Riled Up. And we should be safe. He's going to play Unmovable, but I think he just dies. It's kind of funny. Sure, because we're going to draw 4. No, we're going to draw 3. The 4th card is the Eye of Ophidia. So we are fine. Yeah. It's kind of funny. If the person is stream sniping, they know I have Reckless now. But if they don't, I win. Okay, interesting. We did it. We did it. Hold up a second. What on earth just happened this game? GG. GG's. Alright, that was a very long game that we didn't pay much attention to, but guess what still got us there? The most broken card in the game. GG's. Alright, GG's opponent. Ooh, no GG's. Yikes, buddy. I hope you're okay with that loss. If you'd watched my pitch stack, you'd have seen the Reckless Swing at least once, and just not swing at that point on, you know? Okay. I mean, in the real world, I don't think we win there, because he would just see the Reckless Swing and not swing. But even so, we had basically our own interesting scenario where we had one more way to turn off Blood Debt with Hungering. So I don't think we really could have won the game anyway. If we'd gotten that second Rise in Arsenal, I think we would have won regardless of whether he swings there or not, because we'd get one more big turnoff, and it would have been 7 plus 8 because of Goliath, and it would have gone over with him at 2 regardless, but that would have been dependent on us actually arsenaling the Rouse and not playing it the way we did. So yeah, because yeah. Oh well. 200. Oh yeah, what are the stats on this? 224 damage threatened. To be fair, first cycle of the deck, we got pretty lucky. Some of those draws, like the draw discard on the pulping and stuff, pretty nuts. Things just worked out a little bit. They did. That was a good one, though. This is the kind of game where if you're on the recursion package, you win this. Like, you absolutely slaughter this kind of matchup on the recursion package. Because he really didn't do much, right? Like, does it say what my opponent did? I don't know if it says what my opponent did, but I took 18 Blood Debt to myself. and never even used Husk. So my opponent really didn't swing. And when you're on the recursion plan into stuff like this, oh my god, like, it's just Howl Howl, Writhing, Howl Howl, Endless, Howl Howl, Boneyard, Howl Howl, Dread Screamer, into Graveling, Howl Howl, Writhing Beast Hulk for 12 Dominate. Like, it's pretty nuts. It's pretty nuts. Yeah, he had Null Rune. He said he misclicked, but this only would have been... I think it's probably Goliath Gauntlet. It's probably a Goliath Gauntlet. Because he is running like the CNCs. So it wouldn't have made a huge difference because we still had Scabs block. We would have been at 1 if that was a Goliath Gauntlet. You did that with half your brain tied behind your back. Yeah, I guess. I mean, Levia, to a sense, is like so autopilot these days. I just love playing her way too much. Like, the enjoyment I get is not comparable to like anything else in the game. But I do need to respect this is a different deck. There are things I should be paying attention to really, you know, educate myself on this, on the differences between, you know, simping for Vasily and appreciating the way he plays the game, which is just as Marios said in the chat, with your elbows. Just no block swing. Levia can apparently work that way. She can. Alright, it's almost 11. I did promise Sandra that I would end the stream on time because she has a exam tomorrow and needs to go to bed in 20 minutes. So we'll play one Blitz game because that should take like 5 minutes, right? And we'll play the Blitz deck. I won an armory with this just last week. And it's pretty much Vasily's idea of just, well, I mean, not his idea, but the idea that we saw from his deck here of just, you know, jam the non-blocks, try to keep your hand, go hard. The one thing this deck really could use, though, is the Art of War Rouse combo. I was trimming the Art of Wars just because they clunk a little bit too much in Blitz, but at the same time, like, the Rouse spikes and the Art of War spikes and the Blood Rush spikes are probably enough threat density rather than like just Blood Rush that you can kind of just work through it. Because if you're adding Rouse, like, you do want to add the Art of War because you're changing your blue base to fit another attack, and at that point you should just have the Art of War because it's always live. So actually, let's do that right now. Let's change that right now. Rouse Art of War. We're cutting the convulsions. We'll cut one reckless swing. And then most likely it's better for us to add one Deadwood as our one of. He runs it at yellow. He runs one Deadwood yellow, which I get. I mean, it's all you need for Rise, and it's still a yellow base. And then we'll cut a playset of the Double Graveling Growl is pretty exciting with Art of War. Writhing Beast Hulk is the one he doesn't run, but in Blitz, the Dominate with Goliath is huge, so it's probably just cut the yellow Hungering is probably the call. And then one yellow Deadwood. We'll try it this way. This sounds fine. We'll try it this way. Drop that. Blitz. Create game. Right before you said, so we'll play one Blitz game, I thought that was it, so I'm going to sign off. Yeah, hey. It's just because I say I'm going to stream till 11, so I'll do it. But we can't fit in another CC game, or Woman Sant will be mad at me. And we gotta respect her education. She's the one doing her PhD, not me. So, anything she needs, I respect. All right, bravo. Interesting. Let's do it. Let's do it. Oh man, look at that. No sideboarding. It's Blitz. We just go. This deck does like going second, but this is Blitz, so he can just have some like insane pummel crush, dominate going first. That's just absolutely terrifying. But in the off chance he doesn't, second is still better. Now we'll go first. I'm not going to risk that. Not going to risk that in this format. I can just lose like a quarter of my health. That's unfortunate. It's not safe to play this pulping. It could hit the rouse. If it doesn't though, Arsling Rouse is also pretty good. It sets us up for a really strong 5 cards. We can, but it's Blitz, so like we do have to play a little lucky. So we're gonna go for the pulping and just hope that we don't discard the rouse. Nice. That's actually so insane because now we get to play the Graveling. We can just go Claw Graveling. Jesus Christ. Blitz is such a joke. Look at this. Oh, we got lucky. We got lucky, so now we get to do this. Oh, never mind. We can't afford Claw Graveling. But never mind. I'm wrong. We can't afford Claw Graveling to force the damage through. Unless we pitch the Boneyard. So that's probably not worth it. Boneyard is insanely good for the Blood Rush. Never mind. Not the most insane. Not the most insane. We did get a Spinal, a Macho, and a Showtime out of him. Also not the most relevant. And unfortunately we did take 3 to ourselves. But this hand's a Blood Rush hand. PhD in what? In entomology. At Cornell, of all places. Cornell. Which is why we live here. Which is why we live in the middle of nowhere. She's getting her PhD in entomology. In the middle of upstate New York. Hey, but it's very interesting. We get to rear a lot of insects here. Out in upstate New York. Get to take care of a lot of like rice weevils and black stem borers and mealworms and all kinds of fun stuff. It actually is very cool. Not to downplay it, it is very cool. Imposing Visage. They got Emerging Dominance. Man, it's crazy that it's just like, okay, I'll husk so I can keep this hand. I mean, I really shouldn't. In fact, this is probably a safe spot to even crown to sink a red. To try to find a blue to really kick this off. That'd be the real way to do it. So I guess we'll block like this, go to 15, and we will sink. We'll probably sink the swing big, or sorry, the I guess the Endless Maw. Yeah, the Endless Maw. Okay, it's good. That's what we wanted. Who's doing their PhD? Woman Sant. Woman Sant is. Oh, God. Of course we drew all reds. Blitz, why you gotta freaking do this? Remember and reminder that a PhD is a marathon. You need to take loads of breaks and relax a lot. Yeah, that's what I'm here to support for. For sure, for sure. We spent a lot of time in Michigan for me. Now we're spending a lot of time in New York for her. Here to support. That's the whole idea. Shoot. This really does throw it, you know? Because we can claw, pitch, claw, boneyard, and just present like an insane amount of pressure. Ugh. I mean, we do always start with the claw, so I guess we'll do that and see how he blocks. He definitely wants to keep his hand because of Emerging Dominance. So I guess there's a chance we just swing big, pitch both of these, swing big for 10. Take 1 blood debt. Ugh, taking 1 blood debt feels so bad in this format. What does this even do, actually? +1 dominate. So it basically saves him from paying a Bravo activation. And gives +1, so like a worse Terra Sunder. Because why, God, why did they even print Terra Sunder? That card is the most low effort include Guardian has ever seen. Cards like this are way more interesting. Imposing Visage. Because it's like it's good, it's a blue, blocks 3, utility, but it's not just auto include. Not every deck is actually going to make use of it. But Terra Sunder, you just run it. It is that good. Ooh, now's the question. Go for 10 or go for an 18 damage turn? Go for 10, go for 18. Losing an arsenal is worth 8 damage. We'll do it. Especially since our Husk is going to pretty much absolutely get dropped on whatever this next turn is from him. Because that's how fast you got to think about Blitz. You got to think about it in like 3 turn cycles. It's the entire game. All the Everfest cards are auto-included. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, for Bravo, this is an auto-include. For, like, old him, it's more of a question. You know, you see this more because of hypothermia being a thing. Which is, like, a smart way to play around it. You know, it's smart. Like, you genuinely have to chase, like, a reason to play this card for old him. It's not just automatically the best card for him. Okay. Wow. All right, Blitz. I see you, Blitz. I see you, Blitz. You're definitely that kind of game, Blitz. You're just a let's play 2 blood rushes back-to-back type of game, aren't you? Yes, you are. God, this format. Because you know how differently the... Oh my god. Okay, deck. You give me such hope. And then you take it all away. You shatter me with this deck. You shatter me. Alright, actually, there's something to consider. I'm right now coming in for 11. He has 1-2 block there, so 9. He'd need to block with 2 real cards to not die. That's good enough. Man. Can't even squeeze an extra 5 damage out of this. That's ridiculous. Double dominate Macho Grande. What you gonna do? I'm gonna use my Husky and move on with my life. But then I'm gonna rip Blood Rush and somehow not draw a single resource card off of 2 Blood Rushes. Sheesh. Yo, what's up, Sam? Sam, we gotta get you on these streams, man. You and I, we've got the juice, as that corn kid says. I really think our brains together come up with good stuff, as featured with that wonderful 5 deck. Well, we're gonna force a full block out. I guess we could even do it in a way where we just like win with Writhing Beastalk, which would be kind of funny. We do want to overpitch the Hungering, because our turn is either going to be Graveling or the Beastalk, depends on what he does. I agree, we need to actually play a game. No. Last I heard, you're retired. You're strictly a salesman now. Strictly a salesman. We don't get to play. I want to keep our record clean as can be, you know? Simply allies. But to be fair, I do think you will beat me. Let's just put it out there. Not like I'm playing scared. All right, yeah. So now we just win, which is, I mean, that's pretty unfortunate for him. We should just kind of like end the game, right? Goliath writhing, right? 8 dominate, right? I guess. I mean, that should, unless he's got like staunch or something. Okay, well, that's again. Woo! Blitz format. Woo! Let's go. That was we took 3 turns. We ripped double blood rush. My God, what a freaking mental rush I had playing that game. Whew, Lord, holy freaking moly. Man, Blitz is weird, dude. Blitz is freaking weird. All right. I mean, we got time for one more. We do, because guess what Blitz is? Blitz is quick. Let's do it. Nah, Sam, you're a Runeblade player, you're an Aggro player, and I'm a Levia player. And there's one matchup that I always fear, and that's a good Aggro player. So we might have to, yeah. We might have to just dodge that game, not gonna lie. I can't get embarrassed like this. It's my stream, you know. Now, if you want to play like a Levia mirror, I'm down. You wanna see who's the best Levia? Easy. My stream, Sam. My rules. No, I'm actually a little scared to. I mean, there's like this idea out there of like a Levia tournament that someone asked for at some point. Like I think on the last. Oops, let me update this. What are we 6-2? On like the last roundtable of Levias I did, where we all like kind of put the decks on a tier list of hard matchups and whatever. One of them asked for like an internal League of Levia gauntlet series. And I really think, like, I just don't know if that many mirror matches like really proves anything. Especially with like how spiky Levia games can be if you're just on like pure aggro versions. I mean, it like sounds fun at first, but like actually hosting that, I feel like would just be a lot of feels bad moments. Yo. All right, this is gonna be good actually. The Icelander game is different. Oh, oops. Why is it Barkbone? This is supposed to be Tunic. That's all right. This is, huh? No, maybe it was Bark. I forget what my idea was here. I guess this means I should turn off stream. Oh, good. Oh, I heard Brute Mirror. Let me whip out the Rhinar. Hey, Rhinar versus Levia is way more fun. That matchup, it can be a little frustrating because Rhinar can hit some intimidates that Levia just like cannot deal with, and that feels bad. But most of the time, that matchup is actually pretty Levia favored. Yeah, actually, Icelander is the one matchup that is going to take us a little bit over, probably. So, we'll see. Especially if we have to undo turns like this. Go back to turn start. I can click it this turn. Oh, rip. It's bugged. Alright. I guess we, that's definitely not what the Icelander wanted to do. Alright, to be honest, let me just dip, though. I got to go. Sorry. Alright, that's okay. That's okay. Concede. Let's go. Homepage. Yeah, it's hitting 11 right now, so we don't want to make Woman Sant suffer. Plus that game was already botched because Talishar bugged out, so that's very interesting. In my experience, it felt like it was Rhinar favored. We can put that to the test. I don't think I've ever lost to Rhinar, Sam. The whole deal, just to give you the rundown on why it's Levia favored. So Rhinar has cap damage, right, of pretty much 6 per card. Barragings, of course, stack that. Intimidates, of course, can like stack that to the point where it just goes through. And it's not like a true 6 value because it's not necessarily blockable by just 2 cards. But the way that matchup tends to work out, we'll look at my Levia instead. Where's my Levia? Levia just simply has better rates than 6 per card with the same spikes that Rhinar has with Blood Rush. At the same time, lower effort to pull off the Blood Rush. Lower effort because you don't need to wait for your Tunic. You don't need to like specifically draw like your 2-cost Pack Hunt or whatever to use with Tunic. You can kind of just like, you know, wing it. You can have your Boneyard in Arsenal, have your Endless in Arsenal, and just hit those Blood Rush like right off the top. and it's pretty nuts. The other benefit that Levia has into Rhinar is Rhinar has very hard time like making his large hands playable. You know, you do have to just like end up rolling scabs at times in Rhinar to really pull off much because he doesn't have too much go again in the deck. But Levia can kind of negate moments of variance like that by just having access to more go again in Art of War and Dread Screamer to push wide turns, whereas Rhinar has to force it a bit with scabs. So if you kind of like play through first cycle, Levia just like definitely deals more damage than Rhinar, like definitely. But setting up second cycle, Rhinar is definitely a lot more deadly because he can just stack the Intimidates to force the game to end. So your one way to play around that is the fact that you have an extra 6 life to prevent those thresholds from really ending the game. And in my experience, it just kind of comes down to you get them in Reckless Swing before they get you in Reckless Swing. And so the kind of game of chicken, if they like respect Reckless, they just play the game of chicken from then on out, and you just get these 5-card hands that just have go again while theirs don't. I don't know. It's a pretty interesting matchup because like you don't really have hit effects, but those early Intimidates can absolutely screw you. I mean, if you get stuck with like, you know, actually I'm not running Deadwoods in this list, but if you get stuck like with your Art of Wars and they banish your blocks, I mean, that's just like free damage Rhinar landed that you wanted to block. So, I mean, that stuff can come up. It definitely can. But overall, matchup feels pretty good for Levia. So here's the thing. When you don't roll scabs, you never need it. Which, hey, that's also a way to play. And the thing is that you say that, but like that one turn where you're like, this is the hand where the only way it's damage efficient is if I actually hit that double AP on action points. I've got my gamblers because I'm definitely taking scabs gamblers, whereas you might not have gamblers because a lot of the Rhinars take just Goliath scabs. So if you ever actually try to risk it, you need to be terrified because I'm the one with gamblers and you probably don't have it. Although you probably did take it in because you know I have scabs. But Levia's moments to roll scabs are really few and far between, especially with this version. I'm not running Ghostly, so I don't really get forced to roll scabs a lot. It's quite literally just for that hand of my damage was overwhelming, they passed me 5 cards. If I don't have go again, then it's a scab's turn. But my go again is pretty stacked, or my ability to go tall is pretty stacked. Or pummel. Anyway, we can definitely play that coming up. It's 11 though. We're gonna sign off. That was fun, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. A lot of stories. Hey, apologies at the beginning of the video as well. If anyone missed that, there's some people I need to say sorry to. So that's at the beginning of the video. Here we go. Ending broadcast. See you tomorrow.